Chapter 752. I'm sorry, that's my private matter, Siu responded with a smile. President Su, are you talking about Miss Jian Tong? Rumor has it that a few days ago, on Miss Jian Tong's birthday, the two of you were seen eating together at a high-end Western restaurant. President Su, rumor has it that Miss Jian Tong's new red Ferrari was a birthday present from you. President Su, your grandfather once said that the Su family doesn't want a woman from the entertainment industry as a granddaughter-in-law. Does your grandfather know about this? President Su, please respond. Miss Jian Tong has always been the female lead in all of Imperial Star's investments. Is it because the two of you are a couple? These reporters were speechless. They actually brought up Jian Tong, so you didn't deny it. He simply smiled. Then, his assistant, and blocked all of the reporters for him. Everyone, please move aside, we're leaving. President Su's refusal to publicly deny it meant that he was admitting it. As for why he did this, it was simple. He didn't want these people to write nonsense and drag Huamin down with them. So, Siu was really going all out. The feeling of silently protecting someone was to bear everything without feeling wronged. When he's serious, he's really manly. Wei Liao smiled. Lord Su is on the path of a lovesick dog. Tang Chuan helplessly shook his head. That's not bad, it's something to think about. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, felt that if there was someone that she liked so much, even if they couldn't be together, it was still a form of happiness. Different people had different opinions, right? Everyone had different thoughts in their hearts. After the ceremony, it was already afternoon. All of the guests left one after another, and Qin Chu and the older generation of artists said goodbye. Huamin went to the dressing room to remove her makeup. Then, she changed out of her evening gown and into her yellow SpongeBob SquarePants printed on it. She walked out wearing a baseball cap, white sneakers, and black pencil pants. Sister Huamin, you did well today, your waltz was very impressive, Ni Yang praised with a smile. Don't mention it. I was like a duck being forced onto a perch. I almost ruined the show. It can't be. Did President Qin not inform you beforehand? No rehearsal. Ni Yang couldn't believe it. You won't believe me even if I tell you. He's such a capricious person. Capricious beyond belief. Huamin sighed in his heart. With such a powerful weapon at home, he really had to be on tenterhooks all the time. As she walked out of the dressing room, many GK employees greeted her, a young lady. Annie Liang suddenly appeared beside Huamin. What's up? Huamian took a sip of Evian water. A young lady, I was immature before. I hope you won't hold it against me. Annie Liang changed her attitude. I won't. I'm a public person, I won't take revenge on you. Plus, I don't think I have a grudge against you. I was jealous of you. Anyways, I think a young lady is a very smart person, and you arranged everything well. I hope you'll take good care of a young lady in the future. I won't ask about GK's business. I'm a nurse, for now. Huamin realized that Annie Liang was here to express her goodwill, and her attitude towards him did a 180-degree turn. The truth was, Annie Liang didn't have any animosity towards Huamin before, it was only because she was poached by Jiang Linyue. She had always heard Jiang Linyue slander Huamin, so for some reason, she also felt animosity towards Huamin. Now that the ceremony was over, she suddenly realized that this woman's position in President Qin's heart was unshakable. A young lady, I was immature before, please don't hold it against me if I offended you. Annie Liang politely bowed towards her. Huamin was dumbfounded. Chapter 753. Hey, don't be like this, I really don't need to do that. Huamin was dressed like a child and had a glass of water in his hand. Annie Liang, on the other hand, still hadn't taken off her gown and was wearing 7-inch heels. She suddenly bowed and apologized to Huamin. This scene was quite strange, I know, but President Qin's love for you is beyond words. Anyways, I hope that a young lady will put in a good word for you in the future, I'd appreciate it. It turned out that Annie Liang wasn't stupid. After seeing how much President Qin loved his wife, she finally decided not to offend this woman. Not only was she loved by President Qin, but she was also very smart and capable. Just as she was removing her makeup backstage, she heard people talking about how Jiang Linyue offended a young lady and was exiled. She was even disqualified from attending the 30-year anniversary party. How terrifying. When this woman made a move, she really didn't give you a way out. Annie Liang suddenly realized that she shouldn't go against Huamin. Okay, work hard. Also, be careful of the paparazzi. As an artist, don't let them catch you. In other words, Huamin wanted Annie Liang to pay attention to her personal life and not let anyone take pictures of her. Of course. After talking to Annie Liang, Gao Ran, Zhu Lingling, and Ji Xin walked out with their mother. Don't go, we'll wait for Qin Chu to come out and eat together. Ha! Eat together. You're not eating with the executives. Zhu Lingling was confused. No, it's over. Huamin smiled. Okay, what is brother-in-law treating us to? Jing Jixin smiled brightly. He really liked his brother-in-law. He was also the only person who didn't hate Qin Chu after that incident. I don't know yet, we'll talk about it later. Mom, are you tired? Huamin walked over and held his mother's hand. No, sis, you don't know how engrossed our mother was in the show, especially during the Beijing opera. Oh my God, she couldn't take her eyes off it. She ignored me when I spoke to her. Jing Jixin was exaggerating a little. Yang Meirong said embarrassedly, I'm getting old. Although it's popular to chase after celebrities in my time, I was influenced by my grandmother when I was young. I especially love to listen to Peking opera. It's so good. I'm glad you like it. They waited here for less than a minute. Qin Chu came out and changed out of his casual clothes. What do you guys want to eat? Since it's godly tycoon Qin's treat, why don't we take the opportunity to eat? It doesn't matter what we eat, the most important thing is the feast, Gao Ran joked. In that case, why don't we eat in the Chinese restaurant of this hotel? Here. It's expensive, isn't it? Yang Meirong was a little worried. Mom, don't worry, this is our hotel. My family. Brother-in-law, you bought this Ritz-Carlton. Jing Jixin was shocked. Yeah, it's convenient for meetings, Qin Chu said nonchalantly. Zhu Lingling, Gao Ran, Yang Meirong said, Kid, how much is this? You're spending money like that. Let's go, don't keep everyone waiting. Then, the group went straight to the Chinese restaurant on the top floor of the hotel. They booked the most luxurious private room and served a total of 28 dishes. Everyone was dazzled by the dishes. Huamin picked up his phone and called Jiang Xiaowei. After a few words, he couldn't invite her because if she came, Wei Liao would come. If Wei Liao came, what about Su Yu? What about Tang Chuan? This was a family dinner, so it wasn't appropriate for them to come. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling had been good friends for many years, and they were no strangers to Jixin and his mother, so the atmosphere was very good. During dinner, Jing Jixin played with his phone. Playing with your phone again. You're still chatting with you. Huamin leaned over and peeked. She's been acting weird these past few days. I feel like she's hiding something from me, Jing Jixin said with a frown. Chapter 754. Is it because of the exhaustion period of love? Are you tired of looking at other people? Zhu Lingling laughed. No, I'm not that kind of person. Sister Lingling, don't you know me well after all these years? Maybe I'm overthinking. Ha, let's eat. Jishin put away his phone and continued eating with everyone. During dinner, Yang Meirong suddenly looked at Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran and said, "You two are so perfect for each other. It'd be great if you two could be together." Gao Ran, Auntie, Zhu Lingling, Auntie, stop messing around. Ha. Jing Jishin, be together, be together. Huamin, be together, be together. Finally, Qin Chu, who had always been quiet, added on. He only said 3 words, be together. Gao Ran, are you guys hitting me when I'm down? Zhu Lingling immediately became angry and pushed Gao Ran. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by hitting me when I'm down? It's as if you're wronged. You want to be with me, but I don't even like you. Here we go again, are you trying to pick a fight with me again? Is it fun to do this every time? It is. Zhu Lingling looked at Gao Ran majestically. By the time they finished their meal, it was already late. Gao Ran drove Zhu Lingling home while Jishin drove his mother back to the old house. Mom, after my exams, I'll help you move. You don't have to live in the old neighborhood anymore. Okay, I wanted to move a long time ago, but I don't want to leave Auntie Wu and the others. They've been neighbors for so many years. It's okay, I heard that Auntie Wu's son bought a new house in the city. I'll arrange for you guys to meet up often. Huamin comforted his mother, yay, we're going to live in a big house. I'm so excited. It's all thanks to my brother-in-law. Jing Jishin smiled brightly. Okay, stop flattering me. Hurry up and go home. Drive safe. I know, sis, you're so long-winded, just like Mom. Jing Jishin made a face at Huamin and left the hotel with his mother. Huamin, who was behind them, slightly sighed. Look at Jishin, he's like a child. Everyone says that I'm against him dating. How immature. Honey, of course, you don't have to emphasize this. What do you mean? Do you think I'm too long-winded? Huamian pouted and looked at Qin Chu with resentment. I wouldn't dare. It's been a tiring day, and you've worked hard too. Let's go home. When they were 3 minutes away, Qin Chu's phone rang. He pressed the speakerphone button because he was too lazy to wear his headphones. Of Qin Chu. I am, Qin Chu replied calmly. I'm Isher. These words caused Qin Chu's expression to change slightly. Isher. He repeated uncertainly. Well, I just got off the plane. Can you come and pick me up? The woman's voice was very pleasant. How about this? I can't leave. I'll get someone from the company to pick you up. Alright, see you later. After hanging up, Qin Chu turned to look at Huamin. Why are you looking at me like that? Huamin looked at him, amused. Don't you have anything to ask me? No. Huamin deliberately played with his phone and didn't even look at Qin Chu. You don't mean what you say. Qin Chu smirked. Alright, then I'll ask. Cough, who's he sure? Your ex? She finally raised her head and asked. Her womanly instincts told her that this woman had an unusual relationship with Qin Chu. Chapter 755. You flatter me. You're my first wife, how could I have an ex? The truth was, Huamin knew this as well, they were each other's first loves, how could there be an ex? She was just trying to sound him out. Then who is she? Your relative. No, she's the daughter of my dad's good friend. Her parents went abroad when she was little, and she stayed with us for a year. Then, she went abroad with her parents as well. Later, her parents came back, but she didn't. I heard that she's been in Italy for years. Then how did she get your number? That's amazing. What's so hard about that? Her parents are still in the city. Her last name is Song. Do you know who her father is? Who? Don't tell me it's Song Qinghua. Huamin was talking about the director of the Ministry of Land and Resources. He was someone with a lot of power. That's her uncle. Her father is Song Jiangwo. Song Jiangwo. Oh my god. Mayor Song. Yes, the current mayor of Xi's city was Song Jiangwo, and apparently, he was the older brother of Song Qinghua, the director of the Ministry of Land and Resources. Yeah. Qin Chu nodded. The mayor's daughter, she's. Huamin was a bit surprised. That's why GK has developed so quickly. Uncle Song has always been close to my dad, and after I took over, he took great care of us and gave us lots of land. So you're saying, you're her real childhood sweethearts? Huamian asked sourly. Honey, are you jealous? Qin Chu looked at Huamin's pouting lips, amused. I'm not jealous, Huamin said unhappily. Okay, be good, what childhood sweetheart? We were only 8 years old when she stayed with us. What do we know? She left, and we never contacted each other again. You really didn't contact her? She didn't go to you when you were in the States? Huamin thought that the States and Italy weren't that far apart. They were both overseas, so did they really not see each other? No, not even once. Come to think of it, I haven't seen her for 21 years, really. Qin Chu was a man who didn't lie, and Huamin trusted him very much. Alright, I'll reluctantly believe you. What do you mean by barely believing me? You have to believe me, okay? I'm just curious. Since she's the mayor's daughter, why didn't anyone pick her up when she got off the plane? Why did you have to go? How would I know what she's thinking? Qin Chu felt wronged. If I wasn't in the car, would you have gone to the airport? Honey, let's not talk about this anymore, okay? The vinegar jar is overturned. It's really sour. You're the jealous one. Huamin laughed and punched him. The two of them returned to South Hill Manor. Assistant Yang was ordered to pick her up from the airport. He followed the instructions and stopped at exit H. Sure enough, he saw a tall beauty there. She was about 1.7 meters tall, wearing a pink floral dress and a round straw hat. She looked very fashionable. He slowly parked his car in front of her. Excuse me, are you Miss Song? Hello, I'm Song Yisher. The woman smiled. Assistant Yang was a bit dumbfounded because this woman looked a lot like Lin Jiling. She even looked like Lin Jiling when she smiled sweetly. Hello, Miss Song. President Qin called and told me to pick you up. Okay, thank you. Song Yisher was very polite. She didn't wait for Assistant Yang to get out of the car and put her luggage in the trunk without any hesitation. Then, she sat down in the back seat. Assistant Yang drove a black Bentley today. President Qin personally ordered him to drive her, so it was obvious that this girl wasn't an ordinary person. Miss Song, where are we going? Let's go to Golden Home in the new government district first. Song Yisher's father went abroad for an official visit, and her mother followed him to South Africa. Therefore, no one came to pick her up, so she had to go to her uncle's house first. Oh, okay. Assistant Yang nodded. He thought to himself, that neighborhood is full of big bosses from the government. It seemed like this girl was the daughter of a government official. Is Qin Chu busy today? Song Yisher suddenly asked. Yeah, President Qin and a young lady were busy with the ceremony. A young lady. Qin Chu is married. Song Yisher was a bit surprised, and her expression became complicated. He's married. He's been married for half a year now. But didn't he only come back to China for half a year? He got married as soon as he came back, that's all, Assistant Yang said slowly. Song Yisha seemed to be in a bad mood. She looked out the window and didn't say anything. Miss Song, you and our president are good friends, right? Assistant Yang asked. Chapter 756. Friends. Oh, no, we're not friends. Song Yisha smiled. Then, she looked out the window and didn't say anything else. Assistant Yang didn't dare to say anything else, afraid that the president would be upset if he said something wrong. After Huamin and Qin Chu returned to South Hill Manor, they took a shower and went to bed. It was an exhausting day. The long-planned ceremony was finally over. Including the lucky draw, GK spent almost 80 million yuan on it. However, it was all worth it. After this event, GK's reputation in Asia would be even greater, and its status would be unshakable. Honey, are your relatives gone yet? Not yet. Then, when are they leaving? Qin Chu looked at Huamin with sad eyes. I think, in a day or two, okay. I'll wait a little longer. After all, it's immoral to run a red light. What? You want to run a red light? Mr. Qin, that's enough, okay? The couple didn't forget to tease each other in bed. Honey. Yeah. Did I embarrass you at the dance today? Other than stepping on my foot 3 times, everything else was fine. Qin Chu said quietly. Ha, it's your fault for not telling me in advance. You made me look bad. Also, I've only heard that song before, but I've never danced. You're crazy, okay? What if I made a fool of myself? I won't. Qin Chu lovingly patted her head. Why not? I'm not an immortal. You're better than an immortal, because you're Huamin. Qin Chu was always full of confidence in Huamin. He always knew that his wife was smart and wise. She was always able to turn the tide in times of danger and fight side by side with him. She wasn't a little woman who hid in a gentle nest, okay? I like what you said. Huamin knew that Qin Chu always trusted him. She reached out her hands and intimately wrapped them around his neck. You've worked hard too. Let's have a good sleep tonight. Yes, after your relative leaves, we'll continue to make more babies. Here we go again. Can't you be a little more pure? Huamin said helplessly. I just want a baby. Why do you think I'm impure? Is carrying on the family line such a shameful thing? Alright, you win. Go to sleep. Huamin rudely pressed Qin Chu's head. The two in-laws fell asleep sweetly amidst their playful banter. Huamin didn't worry about the future because of Song Yisha's sudden appearance. However, she didn't know that this Song Yisha would become her greatest enemy in history. This was because Song Yisha's attributes and equipment were too strong. Her EQ and IQ were also high. She was not an easy opponent like Green Tea Bitch and White Lotus. Of course, this was all in the future. The next morning, hubby, I'm going to the wedding today. Are you coming? I don't have time. Okay, then I'll go alone. I don't think you'd want to go to Lu Xiying's wedding anyway. But did you really decide to be the bridesmaid? Qin Chu still felt wronged for his wife. Yeah, I promised her. Then you have to dress up and look better than the bride. Qin Chu looked at her gently. No, that's what green tea bitches do. Since I promised her, I won't steal her limelight. A woman only looks like a princess when she puts on her wedding dress. It's only for one day, how could I bear to do that? So you decided. Qin Chu looked at her confusedly. So I decided not to wash my face. I'm going to go barefaced, ha ha ha. Qin Chu, with your current status, if the media takes a picture of you, you should think about what to do. I'm kidding, of course I have to wash my face. Even if I don't care about my own image, I still have to care about Mr. Qin's. I'm just not going to wear makeup, Huamin said as she took a sip of milk. Okay, oh right, I'm meeting with Hua Zhenghai today. Do you have anything to tell him? Like how I'll help you get revenge? Qin Chu asked as he held a sandwich. Chapter 757. No, I have a better way to deal with him. Don't get involved in the Hua family's business, it's a mess. Huamin always thought that the Hua family's business was too messy and difficult to deal with. Therefore, she didn't want to drag her husband down with her. Most importantly, she had Hua Xiqian as an ally, and he wasn't easy to deal with. Hua Xiqian and I are more than enough to deal with those idiots. We don't need a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Okay, I'm full. Honey, I'm leaving. Okay, be careful on the road. Qin Chu gently watched as Huamin drove away from their home in Nanshan. She drove all the way to the manor in the suburbs. It wasn't far, and she arrived in less than 30 minutes. When Lu Xiying saw Huamin, she didn't look hostile at all. In fact, she looked a little happy. Huamin washed her face, but she didn't put on any makeup, not even a basic skincare routine. Her skin didn't look as fair as usual, but she still had a good foundation. She rarely put on makeup, so she still looked beautiful without makeup. She was wearing a long orange suit and a very low-key watch from Longines. She looked very impressive. You're here. Lu Xiying had already changed into her wedding dress and had her hair up. Yeah. Huamin nodded. Go and get me my bridesmaid dress, Lu Xiying instructed her assistant. Just me. Bridesmaid? Huamin asked confusedly. Yeah, just you. Okay. I'll do my best. Huamin smiled. Her assistant brought over a light purple dress. The style was very ordinary, and the color was also very normal. But that was right. Bridesmaids were supposed to set off the bride's beauty. The wedding starts at 9 p.m. You should get some rest. Oh, I'll let my makeup artist do your makeup. It's okay, I'm fine like this. You're the prettiest today. Huamin looked at Lu Xiying's big eyes. She had always been a good girl, but she fell in love with the wrong person. Many of our classmates will come too, but I didn't invite Zhu Lingling. I hate her. Lu Xiying had always been straightforward. It's okay, she won't mind because she doesn't like you either, Huamin replied. That would be best. Lu Xiying nodded. Huamin took out a big red envelope from her bag and handed it over. Congratulations on your marriage. This is a blessing from Qin Chu and me. Hearing Qin Chu's name, Lu Xiying's expression changed slightly. She took the red packet and smiled bitterly. Thank him for me. Hey, the money is mine. He didn't pay a single cent. It's my own money. You should thank me. No, I have to thank him. All these years, he never gave me any hope. That's why I was able to give up and get married. If he had given me even a little bit of hope, I'd probably be stuck in a quagmire for the rest of my life. Mr. Qin isn't that kind of scumbag. He's always treated women in black and white. There's no gray area, and he doesn't flirt with women. So, you're too lucky. Some people say that you saved the galaxy in your past life, did you know that? Lu Xiying looked at Huamin with envy. Oh. I think so too. Huamin rubbed his chin immodestly. Lu Xiying carefully put away the red envelope, as if she really treasured this gift. Although the Lu family was rich and didn't lack money, Lu Xiying might have already decided to forget about the grudge between her and Huamin. She never thought that Huamin would actually be a bridesmaid. She called him that day because she was a little angry. She didn't think that Huamin would actually agree. So, at this very moment, Huamin deserved her respect. Xiying. Auntie said that your wedding shoes are too high. She's worried that they're not safe, so she wants you to change into flats. Is that okay? Her assistant walked over and asked carefully, she's only a month pregnant, there's no need to be so pretentious. You're pregnant? Huamin was surprised. Chapter 758. Yeah, I got pregnant. Lu Xiying gently stroked her belly with a satisfied smile on her face. Congratulations, this is a double blessing. Huamin was truly envious of women who had babies before they even got married. This was a gift from God. What about you? Any news yet? Not yet. Huamin smiled. It's fine, don't worry. Babies and parents are fated. When the time comes, it'll come. Yeah. Hey, look who's here. Lu Xiying pointed at the door and smiled. Huamin turned around and saw 7 or 8 people walking in. They were all her high school classmates. The class president, Han Su, was at the front. Next to him was Wei Dong, and next to Wei Dong was a slender woman with heavy makeup. Wow, am I seeing things? Goddess Hua. Han Su was slightly surprised when he saw Huamin. You guys would be even more surprised if I told you that I'm the bridesmaid, right? Wow, 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 wow. Are you for real? Another male student asked. It's true. I'm lucky to have Huamin as my bridesmaid. But, isn't Huamin already married? Wei Dong smiled awkwardly. He had never heard of anyone being a bridesmaid after getting married, but she just got married, she didn't have a wedding yet, so I took the opportunity to blackmail her, Lu Xiying explained. You're right, if she doesn't have a wedding, then she's not married. Everyone began to discuss. A few classmates sat down in the lounge and chatted with Lu Xiying. The woman next to Wei Dong looked at Huamin and said, so this is the prettiest girl in your high school. She's not that pretty. Everyone looked at Huamin awkwardly. Huamin didn't mind. She had never admitted that she was the prettiest girl in her class. Don't talk nonsense, Wei Dong warned the woman in a low voice, seemingly embarrassed. Wei Dong, your girlfriend sure is a chatterbox. Han Su looked at Wei Dong mockingly. She's just too straightforward. Don't mind her, Was what I said the truth? She's just very ordinary. I don't know why you guys treat her like a goddess. The woman became even more aggressive. Perhaps she saw that Huamin did not fight back. Lu Xiying, on the other hand, couldn't remain calm. She grabbed onto Huamin's hand and said, goddesses aren't determined by their looks. The women in the nightclubs aren't ugly, but they're not goddesses. The definition of a goddess is broad. All I know is that Huamin has both high EQ and IQ. Otherwise, she wouldn't have become GK's a young lady. There are so many beautiful women out there, it's no coincidence that she's in this position. What? She's a young lady from GK. The woman was dumbfounded. Wei Dong, didn't you tell your girlfriend about it? Lu Xiying coldly glanced at Wei Dong's ugly face. My girlfriend's from out of town, so she doesn't know much. Don't mind her, Huamin didn't say anything. Instead, he smiled and turned around to look at Lu Xiying. It's about time, I'll go to the church with you. Okay. Lu Xiying nodded, got up, and walked towards the church with her wedding dress in tow. Huamin helped her hold up the hem of her dress, and slowly followed behind her. His classmates followed him one after another. Huamin, why isn't Qin Chu here? A classmate asked. He's busy. Huamin smiled. Oh right, the 30-year anniversary celebration just ended yesterday. It was so amazing, I watched it from beginning to end, I didn't even miss the commercials. Speaking of which, the waltz you guys danced at the end was amazing. It was even better than the ones you guys danced at the school anniversary celebration years ago. Thank you. Hua-min wasn't close with his classmates, so he didn't take their flattery or mockery to heart. Hua-min, can you come over in a bit? There's something I want to talk to you about. Wei Dong's voice was very quiet. When he walked past Hua-min, he whispered to him. Hua-min was silent for a moment, and then he nodded. If Wei Dong could say something like that, he must have something he wanted. Then, the wedding march started playing. Under her father's escort, Lu Xiying walked onto the stage and stood in front of the groom. Hua-min looked at the groom from afar. Everyone said that he looked a bit like Qin Chu, but why didn't she think so? Was there something wrong with her eyes? Hua-min, don't you think Lu Xiying's husband looks like your Qin Chu? A female classmate who liked to stir up trouble asked with a smile. Chapter 759. To be honest, I really don't think they look alike. Hua-min knew Qin Chu too well, so she immediately recognized his temperament. She took out her phone, took a picture, and sent it to Zhu Lingling. Fuck, you really went to be a bridesmaid? You're such a Virgin Mary bitch. Zhu Lingling didn't like Lu Xiying, so she was against Hua-min being a bridesmaid. Come on, that's not the point. Look at Lu Xiying's husband. Does he look like Qin Chu? How is that possible? He's worlds apart. He doesn't look like Mr. Qin at all. Stop messing around, okay? I don't think so either. Maybe people are just spreading the wrong things. How much did you spend? Not a lot, only 2,000 yuan. That's still a lot, okay? I remember you only spent 200 yuan on Ning Ziyuan's wedding. At his wedding, I spent more than 200 yuan. Hua-min looked down and smiled. Next, please exchange your rings. After the announcement, the pastor said, Hua-min immediately put down her phone, stood up, and walked up with a tray. There were 2 big diamond rings on the tray. Apparently, the bride was also from a rich family. Lu Xiying looked at Hua-min gratefully, and then exchanged rings with her husband. Next, please kiss the bride. The groom leaned down and kissed Lu Xiying in front of everyone. Thunderous applause sounded from the audience. When Hua-min came back, she saw Wei Dong give her a look. She followed Wei Dong out of the church and saw a lounge at the entrance. You were looking for me. Hua-min looked at him. My girlfriend doesn't know how to talk, don't mind her. Oh, that's it, don't worry, I didn't take it to heart. Actually, there's something else I wanted to talk to you about, go ahead. Wei Dong seemed a little hesitant. Hua-min had been waiting for him to speak. Actually, I wanted to tell you that my family's business hasn't been very good recently. Most of the projects in the city have been contracted and monopolized by Mo Xiaolei. He has more connections than us and has taken a few of our jobs. My family's business has been declining. Mo Xiaolei. Hua-min didn't understand. He didn't know this person, so what was the point of looking for her? You might not know Mo Xiaolei, but you definitely know his sister. She's Mo Shui-er. Mo Shui-er's brother. Hua-min was surprised. That's right, because of Mo Shui-er, Mo Xiaolei received a lot of projects today. Of course, other than being a celebrity, Mo Xiaolei's sister is rumored to be Hua Xiqian's woman. With the Hua Corporation's help, they're like fish in water. I'm not jealous of them, I just think that we should leave them a way out. So, what do I need to do? Hua-min felt like Wei Dong wasn't as good as he was when he was in school. Now, he was like a businessman, beating around the bush when he spoke. He wasn't as straightforward as he used to be, so she had to ask him directly. What I mean is, can you ask the Hua Corporation to let us go? After all, you're a member of the Hua family. Upon hearing this, Hua-min's face darkened. My relationship with the whole corporation is strained. But I heard that you're a member of the whole corporation's board of directors. Wei Dong didn't give up. You don't understand these things. There's a conspiracy going on, I can't explain it to you. Hua Xiqian is your big brother, can't you ask him to let us go? Wei Dong, let me correct you. Hua Xiqian was never my big brother. We're not on good terms, so I won't interfere with his decisions. So, you're not going to help? Wei Dong was obviously annoyed by Hua Min's refusal. Chapter 760. No, it's just that there's nothing I can do. I can't afford to help you. I have to act within my means. The Hua family was in a mess right now, so there was no way Hua Min would get involved just because of Wei Dong. There were too many people involved. For example, what if he offended Mo Shui? She was a superstar who was willing to support GK when it was in trouble. He couldn't forget his roots. Wei Dong's request was too difficult, then can you talk to Qin Chu, and give GK's projects to us this year? Hua Min almost laughed out loud after hearing Wei Dong's words. Was he too naive, or was he asking for too much? Did he really think she was a sucker for money? GK's annual projects involved billions of dollars. Giving them to a third-rate engineering team. What a joke, she didn't even agree. Even if she did, the board of directors wouldn't agree. Wasn't this a joke? Wei Dong, after the incident in T-City, GK took out all the real estate projects and did them themselves. I'm afraid they'll ruin our reputation. I really can't help you with your request. Wei Dong was a little upset that Hua Min rejected him again. He asked, is it because I didn't lend you money when your brother was hospitalized? Is that why you're still holding a grudge? Hua Min looked at him in disappointment. So that's what you think of me. Didn't you think of me that way? Wei Dong seemed a little unhappy. I can only say that I'm thankful that you didn't help me back then and didn't lend me money. If you did, I would never have the chance to be with Qin Chu again. Hua Min, you don't know how despicable Qin Chu is. I did want to lend you money back then, but my dad didn't agree. However, I still wanted to help you regardless of anything. In the end, Qin Chu found me and threatened me. He said that if I helped you, my family would go bankrupt. Look, what a despicable person he is. Really? So he looked for you. Hua Min really didn't know that Qin Chu had looked for Wei Dong. Yes. So do you think you're happy? You're only with him because he forced you to be with him. I'm sorry, but I'm actually living a happy life. Hua Min smiled. Wei Dong was at a loss for words. No matter what Qin Chu is like, I love him because he is Qin Chu. You won't be happy like this. So what? Are you cursing me to be unhappy if I don't help you get that project? No, that's not what I meant. Before Wei Dong could finish his sentence, the skinny woman walked out. What are you doing here? She asked Wei Dong. I have something to say to Hua Min. What is it that you want to say behind everyone's back? Wei Dong was speechless. The woman then looked at Hua Min. Since you're married into a rich family, you should know your place. Don't always think about other people's husbands. You sure know how to flatter yourself. Does your mom know that you don't know your place? Hua Min's retort made the woman's expression change. She thought that Hua Min didn't say anything because he was a pushover, the type that could be easily manipulated. However, she was wrong. Hua Min was never a pushover. Hua Min was a ticking time bomb that could explode at any moment. Then, he would send her to hell. A young lady from a rich family has no manners. It seems like she's not that great, the woman mocked. Chapter 761. Character depends on the person. Not everyone is shameless. Okay, that's all I have to say. I hope we never cross paths again. Then, Huamin turned around and left. She didn't want to waste another second with someone like him. She wasn't mad that Wei Dong didn't help her before. Plus, when Wei Dong's father was hospitalized, she even helped Wei Dong at hospital. She had even arranged a ward for her at Southside. As a classmate, she had done enough. If she agreed to help Wei Dong this time, she would be an idiot. Wei Dong probably thought that Huamin was an idiot. He thought that if he begged her, she wouldn't agree to his request. On the way back from the wedding, Huamin talked to Zhu Lingling. He told her about what happened and complained, "Fuck. Wei Dong is a shameless scumbag. I heard that he's changed a lot of women. You were right not to be with him. Plus, he had the audacity to ask you to help him get a project. It's such a big project, do you think you can just give it to him? He's so shameless. I'm not Guanyin, I can't do everything he asks for. If he asked me to lend him some money, I might have agreed. But he's too greedy and gave me two difficult problems. One is to deal with Mo Xiaolei, and the other is to get GK's project for him. He's so full of himself. If it were me, I wouldn't even dream that big." Zhu Lingling sneered. Huamin suddenly felt emotional about Wei Dong's situation and posted something on her WeChat friend circle. She said, "I gave you a piece of candy, and you saw me give someone else 2 pieces of candy, so you had an idea. But you didn't know that someone else gave me 2 pieces of candy, and you didn't give me anything in return. You shouldn't take other people's kindness for granted. No one takes kindness for granted. Be more grateful and complain less, and perhaps life will be more exciting." At the same time, she also posted this on Weibo. Her true fans all liked her post. Most of them didn't know what Huamin posted, so they thought that it was chicken soup for the soul. They didn't know that every time she posted on her WeChat friend circle and Weibo, she felt emotional. "Honey, what's wrong?" Qin Chu sensed that something was wrong, so he immediately sent a WeChat message to ask, "It's fine. We'll talk about it when we get home." "Okay, then I'll see Hua Xinghai first." GK headquarters, Hua Xinghai's secretary had an appointment with Qin Chu's assistant today. Hua Xinghai was willing to throw away his pride to win over Qin Chu. She personally drove to GK's headquarters to visit them. In the reception room on the top floor, Qin Chu and Hua Xinghai officially met for the first time. "President Hua." Qin Chu politely extended his hand. "Hey," calling him President Hua sounds so distant. "If you don't mind, you should call him Dad like Mian does." Qin Chu could not help but sneer in his heart. "Call him Father. You wish. Not long ago, you repeatedly denied the identity of Huamin and her mother. Now that you've seen someone who's doing well, you're trying to cozy up to her. Are there any elders like you? I think it's better to call you Uncle." Qin Chu finally chose to call him Uncle. Hua Xinghai smiled. "That's fine, anything is fine. You young people can do whatever you want." Assistant Yang brought in a pot of tea and a tea set and placed them on the table. Hua Zhenghai looked around and saw the calligraphy and paintings in the reception room. He praised, "I didn't know you knew so much about calligraphy and paintings. You have good taste. My father chose those. I don't know much about calligraphy." Qin Chu could be said to be slapping people in the face, but Hua Zhenghai was still flattering him. It was so fake. "Uncle. I don't have much time. I have a client to meet in the afternoon. Is there something you need from me?" Seeing that Hua Zhenghai kept talking nonsense without getting to the point, Qin Chu lost his patience. "Oh. I did have something to talk to you about today." As expected, the old fox showed his tail. Chapter 762. Go ahead, Uncle. I heard that the city government has already decided to give GK the land beside Liuyi Reservoir. Hua Zhenghai took a sip of his tea and asked casually. Qin Chu smiled. Uncle, where did you get this information from? I've been in this industry for so many years, nothing escapes my eyes. Mayor Song has always taken good care of GK, and I've known this for a long time. When your father was still at the company, I heard that he and Mayor Song were childhood friends, and they even served in the army together. Now, it seems like the rumors weren't baseless. Last year, the whole corporation also participated in the bidding. To be honest, we prepared dozens of proposals and competed with dozens of competitors for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, the government announced that the land was temporarily put on hold. Even though the land has always been empty, everyone knows that it's the king of the land. Back then, the whole corporation offered 1.3 billion yuan, but the government refused to sell it. I don't think it's because of money. The only possibility is that Mayor Song wants to give it to GK. Ha! Uncle, your analysis is indeed thorough. Qin Chu didn't deny it. After all, Hua Zhenghai wasn't stupid. After you get that land, even if you don't do anything, you'll still make a fortune by selling it, right? Plus, GK won't sell the land. I heard that you're planning to build the largest shopping mall in Asia, and you're also building a film and television complex next to it. Uncle, you're very well informed. Qin Chu didn't say much, and he quietly lowered his head and sipped his tea. So, what I want to say is, can you work with the whole corporation to develop it? We can invest at least 2 billion yuan. But uncle, GK doesn't lack money. I know, you don't lack money, people, or land, but don't we have this relationship? Ha! Huamin is my daughter, and you're my son-in-law. As your father-in-law, it's not too much for me to ask for a share of the profits, right? Even if it's just a little bit of shares, I'd be happy. It turned out that Hua Zhenghai was indeed a greedy wolf, and he wanted to share the benefits of GK's land. Everyone knew that the land was extremely valuable. Although Mayor Song gave the land to GK, Qin Chu still paid for it. He didn't give any less than the others. He took 3.5 billion. So, in reality, he didn't owe Mayor Song a favor. I see. Qin Chu seemed a little hesitant. Seeing this, Hua Zhenghai added, actually, Huamin is my daughter, and now that she's back on the board of directors, the Hua family won't mistreat her. Once the Qin family and the Hua family work together, I guarantee that we'll prosper for the next 100 years. Is this your idea? I wonder what President Hua Xiqin thinks. Xiqin, listen to my decision. We both agree. Oh. How about this, uncle? I really can't make the decision on such a big matter. Besides, the land for the Louis Reservoir hasn't been announced to the public yet, and it hasn't been officially opened yet. The negative news about T-City hasn't been completely eliminated yet. Can you wait for a while? All right. Don't forget about the Hua family when the time comes. Definitely. After dealing with Hua Zhenghai for a long time, Hua Xiqin finally sent him away. Qin Chu didn't even ask him to stay for lunch, because this old man was too disgusting. The good thing was that Qin Chu already knew that he wasn't Huamin's biological father. Otherwise, who knew how disgusted he would be? When Qin Chu returned to his office, he signed some documents. Assistant Yang knocked on the door and walked in. Sir, it's time for lunch. Do you want to eat at the company or out? Wait, let me ask my wife where she is. Qin Chu was just about to call Huamin when he heard the sound of footsteps. Then, a woman appeared at the door. She was wearing a long dress, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. Qin Chu. Hi, do you still recognize me? The woman smiled sweetly. Song Yisher. Qin Chu asked uncertainly. Chapter 763. She smiled and silently agreed with Chin Chu's answer, "Come in." Chin Chu hadn't seen her in years, so he didn't know what to do. When she was 8 years old, Song Yisher lived with the Chin family for a year. When she was 9, she went abroad with her parents. She and Chin Chu were both 27 years old, so they hadn't seen each other in 18 years. If she didn't call Chin Chu to pick her up, Chin Chu would never have guessed that it was her. Assistant Yang immediately poured a cup of coffee and brought it in. "Thank you." Song Yisher smiled. "Did you just come back yesterday?" Chin Chu asked. "Yeah, I suddenly decided to come back. I wanted to give my parents a surprise, but I didn't expect my dad to go overseas for a visit. My mom went with him, so when I got off the plane, I didn't know what to do. Luckily, Mrs. Chin gave me your number. Thank you for sending someone to pick me up last night." Song Yisher was very polite. "You're welcome. Did my mom give you my number?" "Yeah." "When did this happen?" Chin Chu was a little unhappy. Why did his mother always have to make decisions on her own? "This is really disgusting. About 2 weeks ago. She kept asking me when I was coming back. She said she missed me a lot." "Oh. What's wrong?" Song Yisher could tell that Chin Chu was a little off, so she asked. "Nothing. I know you're busy, so I didn't bother you in the morning. I only came when you were on your lunch break. Do you mind having lunch with me?" Song Yisher was very tactful with her words. Her question made it difficult for Chin Chu to refuse, because if he didn't go, it would mean that he minded. Chin Chu could only nod. "Sure, wait for me, I have something to take care of." He returned to his desk, put away the important documents, and locked them in the safe. Then, he followed Song Yisher downstairs. On the way down, Chin Chu picked up his phone and called Huamin. "Honey, where are you?" "I'm home, at Nanshan." "So fast." "I was thinking of asking you to join us for dinner." "No, I ate at the wedding. Lu Xiying's wedding banquet is very rich. There are many dishes and they are very delicious." Huamin was mowing the lawn with scissors while talking on the phone. "All right. See you tonight." "Yes. You seem to treat your wife very well." Song Yisher bit her lip and asked. "Yes, she's my first love. We've known each other for many years, and our relationship is very deep." When it came to Huamin, Chin Chu's eyes were gentle. There was a subtle change in Song Yisher's eyes. Sichuan cuisine restaurant. The two of them ordered a lot of dishes. Song Yisher ate gracefully and smiled. "I've been in Italy for many years, and I miss the dishes from my hometown the most. Also, you know that I could eat spicy food when I was young. I especially miss Sichuan cuisine. Isn't there Chinatown over there? There should be a Chinese restaurant like this," Chin Chu added. "There is, but the taste isn't right. You should know from your years in America that the ingredients are different from those in China. They're all tomatoes, but the taste is different." "That's true." Chin Chu nodded. "What about you? You've been in America for 7 years, are you used to the food there?" "I'm okay, I'm used to it. When I'm tired of hamburgers, I'll make egg fried rice or something. But I still mainly eat Western food. After I came back to China, my wife taught me how to eat Chinese food." When it came to Huamin, Chin Chu smiled warmly again. Song Yisher nodded. Every frown and every smile was perfect. Some nouveau riche families thought that once they had money, they could dress their daughters up like socialites. Socialites were born with an air of nobility. Hui Yan was definitely not a socialite, she was an idiot. Moreover, she was a scammer. Song Yisher had been in Italy for many years, so she was fluent in Italian, Mandarin, and English. After she came back to China, she didn't show off her English and Italian. Instead, she spoke standard Mandarin, which made people like her. The two of them chatted throughout the meal. After they finished eating, Qin Chu paid the bill. Song Yishe took out a round tube from behind her and handed it to Qin Chu. "Oh yeah, this is for you. I wish you a happy marriage." "This is..." Qin Chu looked at the round tube curiously. He didn't know what was inside. Chapter 764. Please don't look down on my painting. Song Yishe smiled sincerely. Qin Chu heard from Mayor Song that Song Yishe had been studying painting in Italy for years and seemed to be obsessed with it. He carefully unrolled the painting and was shocked. Unlike the overseas returnees, Song Yishe's painting wasn't in the foreign style of Van Gogh. It was a pure Chinese style, a black and white ink painting. On the painting, there were black withered branches, fallen leaves, and slightly raised hills. In the distance, there was a big mountain and a bright moon. Ripples could be seen on the river, and a lone boat could be seen in the distance. Nearby, an old man raised a glass of wine to the bright moon. "It was very artistic. You painted this?" Qin Chu was a little surprised. "Yeah, I really like Chinese paintings with wind elements. I've been obsessed with it for years. In my dad's words, I'm about to turn into a demon." "You're indeed very accomplished, but it doesn't match your age. If I didn't know better, I would have thought it was the work of a master ink painter. Can I take that as a compliment?" Song Yishe smiled sweetly. "I am indeed complimenting you. As long as you like it. Thank you for the gift. I thank you on behalf of my wife." Qin Chu never forgot about Huomin. Song Yishe bit her lip and didn't say anything else. "How long are you planning to stay this time?" Qin Chu asked casually. "I'm not leaving." "You're not going back?" "Yeah, I'm planning to stay here. My parents are old, and I'm their only daughter. My dad said that he hopes to have grandchildren in his lifetime." Song Yishe smiled shyly. "That's good, girls have to get married eventually. If you find a good man, Uncle Song will have one of his wishes fulfilled. Speaking of which, you came back so suddenly, and so did your marriage." Song Yishe looked at Qin Chu and smiled bitterly. "Suddenly? I've been planning this for 7 years, Qin Chu said faintly. 7 years of planning? Song Yishe was in disbelief. Then she continued, "Then you must love her very much." "Yes, I love her very much. Marrying her is the best thing that has ever happened in my life." Qin Chu did not deny it and frankly admitted it. Song Yishe envied the girl who was loved by Qin Chu from the bottom of her heart, so fast. "You're already married, but I still don't have a clue. You didn't have a boyfriend in Italy?" "I befriended a local aristocrat who loved to play in freedom. He was a typical Sagittarius. He often went out to play and had a lot of girls around him. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore and broke up with him. You know, no matter how much influence we have, we are still Chinese. We still retain the customs and traditions of China. We are fundamentally different from foreigners." "Indeed. How are Mama Qin and Papa Qin doing? How are you feeling?" "Not bad. I'm going to visit them tonight. My dad went to the States to visit my uncles. My mom is home alone." "Oh, okay. Are you coming back tonight? Maybe I can hitch a ride with you." Song Yishe playfully stuck out her tongue. "No, I'm going back to South Hill Manor tonight to accompany my wife. She's scared of being alone." "Okay." After being rejected by Qin Chu, Song Yishe only smiled elegantly. Huomin spent the entire afternoon pruning the plants at South Hill Manor. She had a lot of fun. Uncle Lee and a group of gardeners were so scared that they followed behind her, afraid that something would happen to her. Then, she went upstairs to take a shower and changed into her home clothes. Holding the flowers she cut from the garden, she sat in the living room and arranged them. Zhu Lingling called her. I saw Lu Xiying talking in the group chat. She even mentioned you. Oh. What did she say about me? Huamin asked calmly as she arranged the flowers. Chapter 765. Wait a second, I'll read it to you, ha. She said, if she meets someone, she will choose someone to spend the rest of her life with. Thank you to everyone who came to my wedding today, and especially to Goddess Hua for being my bridesmaid. She hopes that with her good luck, I will be able to live a happy life. So emotional. That's not Lu Xiying's style at all, Huamin laughed. I know, right? We were thinking the same thing. If it wasn't for the voice message she sent, I would have suspected that her phone had been stolen. I can't believe she learned to speak so eloquently. After that, she sent us a few red packets. She's quite generous. Lu Xiying isn't a petty person at all. She speaks her mind. She's really straightforward. Since she's married, I don't have to worry anymore. You have one less love rival. Don't worry about me. Why don't you focus on your own stuff? Me. I'm not in a hurry, Zhu Lingling purposely dragged out her words. Someone is in a hurry. Then let him worry himself to death. Zhu Lingling laughed. You're so mean. Okay, I'm helping my mom move next week. Come and cook for me when you're free. No problem, haha, Mr. Qin is so generous. You're giving me a 1,000,000 yuan mansion. When I get married, can you give me a discount and sell me one? Don't worry, Gao Ran's family is rich too. They can afford it. He's a police officer who gets a few thousand yuan a month. Who knows how long I'll have to wait for him. As a family member of a police officer, can't you be a little more generous? A 60 square meter 2-bedroom apartment isn't bad. Fuck off. It's easy for you to say that. You live in a 1,000 square meter mansion, so don't say things like that. You'll get beaten up if you try to act cool. Zhu Lingling was a tomboy, so she didn't hold back when she talked to Huamin. Occasionally, she would be a little rude, however, Huamin really liked her because she was a real person. She cried and laughed at the same time. Such a real person was always able to add a heavy stroke to her beautiful years. Siyu appeared on all the major media outlets after singing, just once, at the gala. Everyone thought that he was confessing to Jian Tong, so they tried their best to hype up their relationship. It just so happened that Jian Tong had a movie that was released. It raked in 500 million in 3 days, and the producer, Imperial Star, made a lot of money. The celebration party was held in a private club under the banner of Star Emperor. Including the crew members and supporting actors, there were about 60 people present. Siyu gave out red packets on the spot, and everyone got a share. Everyone was having a great time. Then, Siyu sat on the sofa in the middle and closed his eyes to rest. The deafening music continued to play in their ears. Jian Tong was wearing a dark red China-style cheongsam. She looked very young and beautiful. She walked over with a bottle of mineral water. Mr. Su, have some water. Thank you. Does your head still hurt? Do you want me to massage it for you? Jian Tong reached out her hand as she spoke. However, before she could touch Suyu immediately stood up and dodged her hand. I'm going to get some fresh air, you guys have fun. Jian Tong bit her lip, slightly disappointed. Sister Tong Tong, congratulations, you got promoted so quickly. Everyone is saying that you and President Su are getting engaged. Yeah, if you marry into the Su family, are you going to retire? Don't forget to put in a few good words for us when the time comes. The girls around her didn't know what was going on, so they raised their glasses and celebrated. Jian Tong couldn't say anything. No one knew what it was like to be used as cannon fodder by President Su, but she didn't care. After all, it could bring her fame and fortune. However, she felt bad for President Su. He liked that woman so much, but he had to suppress his feelings. She had never seen him in such a desolate state. Siu took the bottle of mineral water and walked to the balcony on the second floor of the club. He stood on the railing and enjoyed the breeze. He really wanted to see Huamin, but he knew that he didn't have the right. South Hill Manor. When Qin Chu came home from work, he had dinner with Huamin. As the two walked upstairs hand in hand, Huamin suddenly sniffed his jacket. Then, with a complicated expression, he said, "Mr. Qin, the Burberry perfume on you smells really good. But if I remember correctly, this is a woman's perfume, right? It's a brand that I never use." Chapter 766. You have a good nose. Hurry up and tell me the truth. Didn't I call you at noon today? You said you didn't want to eat, or else I would have gone with you to eat with Song Yisher. Song Yisher. Oh my God, you went behind my back. I didn't, I told you over the phone. But you didn't tell me you were going with Song Yisher. If I knew it was her, I would have gone even if I wasn't hungry. Huamin pouted. Okay, I'll definitely bring you next time. Next time. Qin Chu, honey, can we not be jealous for no reason? It's not that I'm jealous for no reason. She looks like Sister Jiling, so I feel threatened. Who told you that? Qin Chu was speechless. Huamin took out his phone and opened Assistant Yang's WeChat. Last night, Assistant Yang posted on WeChat, "The president sent me to pick up a beautiful woman, and she looks a lot like Sister Jiling." Qin Chu rubbed his forehead as sweat dripped down his forehead. Yang's been too comfortable lately. I'll give him something to do later. No need, I already took a screenshot and sent it to his wife. You have his wife's WeChat? Qin Chu was speechless. Huamin nodded. During the gala, his wife came to watch the gala with their child. She was pretty friendly to me, so I added her. Okay, honey, you win. Originally, Qin Chu was mad at Yang's big mouth, but when he heard that Huamin sent a screenshot to his wife, he immediately began to sympathize with Yang. Based on what he knew about Yang, that post was definitely blocked from his wife's post, but Huamin actually took a screenshot and sent it over. Wouldn't that start a world war? Honey, don't you think you're being a little, am I? He posted something like that to provoke me, can't I provoke him as well? Qin Chu couldn't help but smile. Yang was really looking for trouble for himself. Why would he say that she looked like Lin Jiling? So, the fragrance on your body belongs to Sister Jiling. Huamin glared at Qin Chu. I didn't notice what perfume she used. We were just having lunch together. To prevent Huamin from overthinking things, Qin Chu didn't even take back the painting Song Yisher gave him. Instead, it was placed in the cabinet of the office. However, she did not expect that Huamin's attention to detail would be so good. He could even distinguish such a light perfume. Just having a meal together. What else do you want? I don't want anything. Honey, I'm innocent. Looking at Qin Chu's aggrieved face, Huamin couldn't help but laugh. All right, I'll forgive you then. At night, when Song Yisher showed up at the Qin manor, Lady Qin looked like she saw her savior. She grabbed onto Song Yisher's hand and refused to let go. Then, she told Huamin everything that happened in her family and complained endlessly about Huamin. There were 3 main points. First, she really didn't like Huamin because he came from a poor family. Third, even if Qin Chu married Huamin, she wouldn't acknowledge it and would fight until the end. Fourth, Qin Chu was mesmerized by the vixen and was estranged from his mother. In the end, she concluded that Huamin was an evil woman who destroyed the Qin family and tried to help the Huo Corporation take over GK. In short, Lady Chin made Huamin sound like a complete piece of trash. Mama Chin, calm down, calm down. Speak slowly. Sure, it's good that you're back. I know you've been thinking about Chu all these years. You have to take Chu back from that little bitch, okay? Mama Chin. Chin Chu is married, I can't do that. Song Yishe smiled elegantly. Then you should ask them to divorce. If that woman didn't exist, Chin Chu would have married you. When you were young, your parents let you live with us and we've always treated you like our daughter-in-law. Plus, Chu likes you too. He likes me. Song Yishe looked at Lady Chin in disbelief. Chapter 767. Yeah, after you left with your parents, Chu was depressed for a long time. In order to make Song Yishe believe her, Lady Chin began to make things up. The truth was, boys developed late mentally, and the 8-year-old Chin Chu didn't know what love was. Mama Chin, forget it, Chin Chu is married, it's not good for his wife to find out. What wife? That's what. Who would acknowledge that slut? You know it too, sure. That woman's mother is a shameless homewrecker. After she failed to get married, she had an affair with one of the Huo family's chauffeurs and gave birth to a son. She's really messed up. Tell me, how could I accept a woman like that with a background like that? Chu is still muddle-headed, I don't know what kind of potion that woman fed him. Mama Chin, let's not talk about this for now. Here, this is a scarf I bought for you in Italy. It comes in 3 colors, but I didn't know which one you liked, so I bought all of them. Song Yishe took out the scarf, and Lady Chin couldn't stop smiling when she saw that it was a branded scarf. Hurry up and bring out the bird's nest for sure. The maid didn't dare to delay and immediately brought out the bird's nest soup. Lady Chin held on to Song Yishe's hand and said, Sure, since your parents aren't back yet, why don't you stay at my place for now? No, I'll stay at Uncle's place. It's okay, listen to me and stay here. Your father went to the States, and that old man isn't on my side anymore. I don't know what that little bitch did to him, but I'm so mad. I'm the only one at home, and I'm lonely. Plus, with you here, maybe Chu will come back a few more times, okay? No, Mama Chin. I can't stay here, really. Song Yishe wasn't someone who didn't know her place. No matter how much Mama Chin liked her, she wouldn't do something so degrading. Seeing that Song Yishe wasn't willing to do anything, Lady Chin didn't continue to make things difficult for her. Sure, you're not leaving this time, are you? Yeah. I told you on the phone before that I'm coming back this time to accompany my parents. They're getting old, and my dad will retire in 3 years. When that time comes, I'll take them around the world. Ha! What a good kid. If you had come back earlier, Chu. Let's not talk about this. Mama Chin, take care of yourself. Your health is the most important thing. I will. Good child, you're still the best. With Song Yishe's return, Lady Chin's fighting spirit, which was about to be extinguished, was reignited. Because through comparison, Lady Chin felt that Song Yishe would completely crush Huamin. In terms of looks, Song Yishe had a 170 cm figure while Lin Jiling had a sweet appearance. In terms of education, Song Yishe was a top student who majored in ink painting at the Florence Academy of Fine Arts. In terms of family background, Song Yishe was the apple of Mayor Song's eye and the only daughter in the family. In terms of conversation and temperament, Lady Chin felt that Song Yishe was perfect. However, she forgot that no one in this world was perfect. If a person was too perfect, it could only mean that they were too good at pretending. She must have a fatal flaw that others couldn't easily see. Huamin wasn't perfect, but Huamin had always done things his own way and lived the truth. Song Yishe, on the other hand, seemed to live in a painting and dressed herself up too exquisitely. Chin Chu was leaning against the headboard with a book, while Huamin leaned against Chin Chu's shoulder and played with his phone. "Sis, are you there?" "Yes." Seeing that Jixin sent him a WeChat message, Huamin immediately replied. Looking at the time, it was almost 10 o'clock. Jixin rarely sent him a WeChat message so late. "Have you been in contact with you recently?" "No, why?" "She's been avoiding me these past few days and doesn't want to see me. I send her WeChat messages, but she doesn't reply. Sometimes she picks up, sometimes she doesn't pick up, and when she does, she only says a few words before hanging up." "Did you guys fight?" "No, it would be great if we did, so I'm confused. I don't know what's wrong with her." Jixin was so anxious that he stopped typing and sent a voice message to his sister. "Don't worry, I'll ask her." Chapter 768. Huamin then sent Huang Yu a WeChat message, but she didn't reply. He called her again, but she still didn't pick up. "Sis, how did it go?" Jixin asked anxiously. "She didn't reply, so I think something happened." "Don't worry, I'm going to the first hospital tomorrow to deliver some documents to President Wu, so I'll go find her." "Okay. Go to bed early, Anshin, I'm here for you." "Okay." After comforting Jixin, Huamin frowned slightly. "What's wrong?" Chin Chu noticed that Huamin's emotions were fluctuating, so he asked with concern. "I don't know, I just have a bad feeling. You know that my premonitions are always accurate. I didn't want you and Jixin to be together back then, so they thought I was old-fashioned and wanted to break them up. But now, they know to come to me when something happens." "Did they fight?" "I don't know, I'll have to ask you tomorrow to find out." "You're going to deliver the documents to President Wu tomorrow, right? When is the exam?" "Next week." "Good luck. Honey. Do I get a reward for passing the exam?" "Mr. Chin." "Yes." "What?" "I'll reward you with a baby." "Huamin, really? You're not kidding." "Really, we should have a baby, preferably a daughter." "Why?" Huamin was a little surprised. Chin Chu never talked about this topic before. Plus, he was so cold and arrogant, so he didn't care about boys or girls, okay? What was up with him today? "Because I saw someone say that, if a woman loves a man, she'll give him a daughter. When he's 50, she'll act like a spoiled child to him, criticize him for being disobedient, persuade him to quit smoking, take him on a trip, buy him warm shoes, sunbathe with him, and drink tea with him. If a woman hates a man, give him a son. When he is 50 years old, stare at him and throw cups at him. Ask him for a car or a house. If a woman hates a man to the core, give him 2 sons. Pfft. Where did you see that?" Huamin was about to vomit blood. "I saw Gao Ran posted on his moments," Chin Chu said seriously. "Ha! I can't believe he's a police officer. I can't believe he has this kind of awareness. Alright, I'll see what he's going to do when he and Lingling get married and have twins." "What if we have twin sons?" Chin Chu looked at Huamin sadly. "Then why don't you abandon us and find another wife who can give birth to a daughter for you?" "No, I've decided on you for the rest of my life. As long as it's your child, no matter if it's a boy or a girl, even if it's a monkey, I'll still like it." "Damn you. You're the one who gave birth to a monkey. Isn't my monkey also your monkey?" Huamin was speechless. Fine, when Mr. Chin was being mean, he wouldn't lose to anyone. He just didn't talk much. However, every word he said was deadly. The next morning after breakfast, Chin Chu and Huamin left South Hill Manor together. Huamin drove to the first hospital and gave President Wu the exam materials. President Wu seemed to support her choice of neurology and said that Director Li spoke highly of her. After Huamin chatted with President Wu, he went downstairs to the OB/GYN department to look for Huang Yu. From afar, he saw her playing with her phone at the on-call desk. Huamin patted her on the shoulder, scaring her so much that she almost screamed, "Mian, my God, are you trying to scare me to death?" Huang Yu's face turned pale. "Why didn't you pick up my call last night?" "Oh. I went out to eat last night and came back really late, so I didn't call you back." What happened between you and Jixin?" Huamin asked in a low voice. Huang Yu's expression became complicated when she heard Jixin's name. It seemed like she had something she couldn't say. Chapter 769. Did you guys have a fight? No. Huang Yu's voice was very quiet, and she didn't even dare to look at Huamin. Dating is between two people, I shouldn't ask, but I know Jixin, he wouldn't have asked me for help unless he had no other choice. He said that you've been avoiding him for the past few days. Why is that? Is it because he did something wrong? Huang Yu loved to join in on the fun, but why didn't she come to GK's 30-year anniversary celebration? It was quite strange. Huamin had felt that something was wrong for a long time, but he didn't dare to ask because he didn't want Jixin to feel pressured. She knew something was wrong when Jixin came looking for her last night. Huang Yu shook her head. "Mian, Jixin is great, he's the most innocent boy, and he treats me very well." "Then why are you avoiding him? Why can't you talk to him nicely?" "Mian. I don't know what to say, can you stop asking for now? I need some time to myself. I'll explain everything to Jixin in a few days after I figure out what happened." Huamin looked at Huang Yu's expression and didn't think she was lying. Plus, there were tears in her eyes, so she was probably feeling a bit stressed. He didn't want to force her, since she was a nice girl. She supported her back then and wasn't afraid of offending Wu Xiaoxue. Huamin always thought that Huang Yu was a good person, and her only flaw was that she had a fragile heart. Huang Yu was the only child in her family. Her parents were ordinary workers, but they treated her very well. She grew up in a greenhouse and didn't experience any setbacks. Her life had always been smooth, and the only guy she had a crush on in college went abroad, so she never really got hurt. However, this kind of experience was bad for her. Once someone like her suffered a setback, it would be very difficult for her to recover. It would take a long time for her to recover. This was also why Huamin was against their relationship in the first place. It was inevitable for young people to experience setbacks in love. If both Huang Yu and Jixin couldn't figure something out, then both of them would be greatly affected. In the end, Huamin looked at Huang Yu, patted her on the shoulder, and said, "Okay then, don't stress yourself out. Relax for a few days, I'll talk to Jixin." "Yes, thank you, senior sister." Huamin placed the coffee and snacks he brought for Huang Yu at the on-call desk and left. After getting into the car, she put on her earphones and called Jixin. "Sis, Jixin, I saw you." "What did she say?" Jixin seemed to care a lot about Huang Yu's attitude. "I think she might have been too stressed at work recently. There are always exams in our hospital, so she might not have time to meet you. Don't think too much about it." "Is that really the case?" "Sis, don't lie to me." "How could that be?" "Xiao Yu said that she'll explain everything to you in a few days." "That's good. Thank you, sister." Jixin's voice seemed a lot more relaxed. "Go to class, we'll be moving in a few days." "Okay, don't worry, I've been thinking about it." Auntie Wu and the others were so jealous when they heard that we were moving to Sky Blessing Court. They even asked if Mom could buy them a cheap house. Huamin was speechless. "Okay, I have to go to work. We'll talk later. Okay. After hanging up, Hwa-min went straight to South Side. After arriving at South Side, he began to get busy again. Soon, it was time for lunch. Hwa-min was just about to get up and leave when he saw a tall and beautiful woman standing at the door. Hello, are you Hwa-min? I am. Hwa-min nodded. Hello, Hwa-min, I'm Song Yi-shur. Chapter 770. Do we know each other? Hwa-min wasn't unfamiliar with Song Yi-shur's name. However, she really wasn't familiar with her, okay? You're Chin-chu's wife, right? I'm his friend. Please forgive me for my sudden visit. But I'm going to eat now. Hwa-min didn't want to entertain guests during working hours, but she really didn't want to delay her lunch. After all, she wasn't trying to show off, but she didn't think that Song Yi-shur was important enough to delay her lunch. Do you mind if we eat together? But I'm going to the employee cafeteria. Hwa-min really didn't like to go out to eat with people she wasn't familiar with. She hated dealing with people and dealing with them. So, she might as well directly reject them. I also want to try Southside's employee food. Let's talk while we eat. Before Hwa-min could say anything, Song Yi-shur happily turned around and left. The point was, did she even know where the employee cafeteria was? It was Hwa-min who took the initiative to bring her. Fine, she admitted defeat. Inside the employee cafeteria, Hwa-min swiped her card first, but she politely handed it to Song Yi-shur. Thank you. Song Yi-shur smiled sweetly. Hwa-min went to line up and swiped her card again. The two dishes were the same, one meat dish, one vegetable dish, and one soup. Spicy veal, bitter melon fried egg, and winter melon, mutton, and vermicelli soup. Song Yi-shur didn't put on airs like a rich girl. She lowered her head and took a bite of the beef. It's so delicious, working here is so blissful. Then you haven't tried the food made by the previous chef. It tasted so good, better than this one. Song Yi-shur asked suspiciously. No, it tasted so good, haha, you're so funny. Song Yi-shur was amused by Hwa-min's words. Hwa-min was starving, so she didn't care about anything else and began to eat in big bites. It tasted so good. Song Yi-shur ate in a more elegant manner. She picked up the bowl of soup from time to time and took small sips. After 10 minutes or so, the two finished eating. Are you full? You can have more. Yeah, I'm full. Thank you for lunch, Song Yi-shur thanked her. So, can you tell me why you were looking for me? Hwa-min looked at Song Yi-shur. Assistant's assistant, Yang's, she did look a little bit like Chu's older sister. She was sweet and lovely, tall, with long legs and a great figure. Most importantly, her breasts were 36D. She was a perfect goddess. In comparison, Hwa-min's tiny airport seemed pitiful. Song Yi-shur attracted a lot of attention at the hospital. Wherever she went, the male doctors would drool at her beauty. Hwa-min, I just came back to China yesterday. I heard that Chin-chu got married, so I was curious. I wanted to see what kind of girl he was so obsessed with. What happened after you saw her? Are you disappointed? The truth is, I'm not that good. Hwa-min laughed at herself. No, I think Chin-chu's taste is right. I've heard a little about you, and I think you're a very admirable woman. You've been working hard for your career, so I give you a thumbs up. Hwa-min began to treat this woman as a love rival. But now, she didn't seem to be hostile, nor did she come to provoke her. Was she too nervous? Thank you for your compliments, Miss Song. I'm really not as good as you say. No, the fact that Chin-chu loves you is enough to prove that you're great. Song Yi-shur's logical thinking wasn't normal either. she was really smart to be able to make someone as smart as Huamin speechless. You seem to have different feelings for Qin Chu. Huamin's sixth sense had always been very accurate. He noticed that when Song Yisha mentioned Qin Chu's name, her eyes lit up. They weren't just friends, right? Chapter 771. I'm not afraid that you'll get mad, but Qin Chu is the first boy I ever fell in love with. Oh. Huamin nodded, not surprised at all. Mr. Qin was so outstanding, it was normal for someone to like him. When I was 8 years old, I lived with the Qin family. Mr. and Mama Qin treated me like their own, and I'm very grateful for that time. I left the Qin family a year later, and I haven't seen Qin Chu since. However, I've never forgotten about him. Ha! I'm not afraid that you'll laugh at me, but I always thought that someone like Qin Chu wouldn't get married so early. The earliest he would get married would be after 30. So you never did anything, or even confess to him? Huamin asked. Yes. I might have been too confident in myself. I was quite surprised when I found out that you guys were married after I came back to China. My parents didn't tell me about it, maybe they didn't want me to be sad. Mama Qin didn't tell me either when she called. It seems like I was the only one who didn't know. Then he doesn't know, right? Huamin looked at Song Yisha. From her words, he could tell that Qin Chu didn't know about Song Yisha's feelings for him. I don't know, I never told him. Then are you still going to tell him? Huamin asked, word for word. Song Yisha was slightly surprised, as if she didn't know how to answer. To be honest, I never thought about it. Song Yisha was telling the truth. If she said that she didn't want to tell him, she would be lying. After all, she had a crush on him for so many years. If she said that she wanted to tell him, she would be lying as well. After all, he was married, and if she did anything, she would be accused of being a homewrecker. The perfect answer was that she never thought about it. So you came to see me today just because you were curious and wanted to see what I looked like. I guess so please forgive me if I disturbed your work. It's okay. It's lunch break now, so it's not a bother. Song Yisha smiled, looked at Huamin, and said, Mama Qin doesn't seem to like you. When I went to visit her yesterday, she told me some bad things about you. But to be honest, I don't believe it, because I don't think Qin Chu is stupid enough to fall in love with such a terrible woman. Mama Qin may be biased against you, but that's not a problem. I think you're a winner in life if you can get Qin Chu's love. So are you envious of me? Huamin suddenly asked. Song Yisha nodded without hiding anything. I'm envious and a little jealous, but there's no hatred. I believe that God has already made the best arrangements. Miss Song is indeed a magnanimous person. Her manner of speech is extraordinary. Huamin realized that Song Yisha's speech was flawless. Her IQ and EQ were no lower than hers. She might even be higher than hers. She completely outclassed women like Jiang Linyue and Zhao Qingya. However, it was precisely because of this that women like her were terrifying opponents. They were too powerful. Okay, it's about time. I won't take up any more of your time, Mrs. Qin. We'll meet again if fate allows. After speaking, Song Yisha got up. But after taking a few steps, she stopped. She turned around and smiled. Thank you for treating me to lunch. The veal was delicious. After Song Yisha left, 2 nurses at Southside came over and asked, Head nurse, is that your friend? She's so pretty, she looks like Sister Jiling. She's really not my friend. I don't have such a goddess as my friend. Huamin smiled. She was a person who knew her own limits and would not blow her own trumpet. At most, Song Yisha was Qin Chu's friend. She really wasn't Huamian's friend. Huamian's only friends were Zhu Lingling, that idiot, and Jiang Xiaowei, that brain-burning PhD. In the afternoon, Huamin was just about to get off work when he received a call from Sister Ingzi. "A young lady, come here, Ni Yang, what about him? You'll know when you get here. We're at a mansion on Phoenix Shore." This mansion was owned by GK. It was a gift from Qin Chu to Ni Yang and Nemo Shui for their first meeting. Each of them had a mansion. The scenery was beautiful, and the artist's privacy was protected. Upon hearing this, Huamin didn't dare to delay and immediately drove to Ni Yang's home. Chapter 772. What happened? Huamin immediately asked when she saw her sister Ingzi. "You should go and see him. He went out this morning and came back in the afternoon. He didn't talk to me either. I don't know what happened. He was like this when he was at his worst. It was very scary. The look in his eyes didn't seem like him anymore." Ingzi knew that Huamin was an experienced doctor in the neurology department, so she called Huamin immediately. Huamin nodded. "Okay, I'll go in and see. Don't worry too much." She walked to the second floor. The door was ajar. She knocked on the door, but there was no response. She slowly walked in and saw Ni Yang huddled in a corner. His arms were wrapped around himself. It was a gesture of self-protection, as if he had been hurt. Ni Yang's condition had been stable recently. Why did he suddenly become like this? "Ni Yang." She called out softly. He didn't respond. He just sat there in a daze, his eyes unfocused. "Ni Yang, I'm Sister Huamin." Hearing that it was Sister Huamin, he seemed to be moved a little. He slowly raised his head. His eyes were still pale. "Sister Huamin, tell me, why did she do this to me? If she hates me, why did she give birth to me? Why did she do this to me?" Upon hearing Ni Yang's words, Huamin suddenly understood. "You went to see her." The her that Huamin was referring to was none other than Ni Yang's mother, Mrs. Xiaowan. Huamin had investigated Ni Yang's background. His father was dead. His grandparents were in the countryside and were in poor health. She couldn't contact his grandparents either. The only person she could contact was Ni Yang's aunt, who raised him in the past. She rarely moved around. In Ni Yang's words, they were all insatiably greedy. Now, he only had one mother, Xiaowan. She was pregnant with someone else's child and abandoned Ni Yang. She ran away from home and started a new family. Later, another man cheated on her and ran away with another woman. She was now living alone with her seriously ill youngest son. He seemed to be working very hard now. He had to set up a stall to sell grilled sausages and scallion pancakes. She had looked for Ni Yang several times before and asked for money, but was rejected by Ni Yang. She even threatened to expose her family's dirty laundry. She only gave up when Ni Yang threatened to kill her youngest son. Why did they suddenly meet again? Originally, Huamin planned to find some time to meet Xia Wan after his exams and try to untie the knot between mother and son. After all, this was the root cause of Ni Yang's depression. She didn't expect that they would meet again so soon. "Yeah, I met her, haha." Ni Yang's eyes were empty as he smiled coldly. "What happened? Can you tell me? Do you know what she said to me?" Ni Yang said bitterly. "Huamin didn't say anything," she said. "Ni Yang, why don't you donate a kidney to your younger brother? His uremia is already very serious. If he doesn't get a kidney transplant, he'll die. He's your younger brother, can't you save him?" "Kidney transplant? Are you kidding me?" When Huamin heard this, she felt bad for Ni Yang. Was this really what a biological mother would say? That was her son, but this one wasn't. Why did she have to save him with Na Yang's kidney? Ha! I told her that I wouldn't donate a kidney, nor would I take any money. She told her stupid son to wait for death. Huamin, don't you think I was too cruel? No, I think she hurt you too much. Huamin looked at the young man with a pained expression. After all these years, he stumbled his way to becoming a superstar. However, he still couldn't escape the pain of his 7 emotions and 6 desires. To everyone, family was a warm word. However, to Na Yang, family was a curse, a terrifying curse. Na Yang looked at Huamin with his eyes wide open, crystal clear tears falling. Huamin, why do you think everyone else has a good mother, but I don't? Looking at Na Yang's tear-filled face, Huamin felt like her heart was being squeezed. Chapter 773. Na Yang, only by going through pain that ordinary people can you get what ordinary people can't get. You're a superstar now, and that woman didn't acknowledge you because she didn't have the good fortune. But you have to believe that God's gift to you may be late, but it won't be absent. One day, you'll get what you've always wanted. Huamin-san. I suddenly feel like it's meaningless. What does my existence mean? Even if I die, the world will continue to spin. The world won't change because of my death. The fans who mourn for me will disappear with time, and one day, everything about me will disappear without a trace. It'll be like I was never here. Na Yang's words were filled with despair. Huamin had seen patients with depression before, and most of them didn't have any hope in life. They had suicidal tendencies and thoughts. Na Yang was no exception. The lack of maternal love made him feel like an insecure child. He was always envious of other people's happiness, his mother's nagging, his mother's meals, his mother's smile, including his mother's scolding. Everything that a normal child would have was an extravagant wish for him. She really loved this child from the bottom of her heart. Since God allowed you to live, He must have other plans. Why don't you calm down and wait and see what kind of gift God has for you? Really? Na Yang was slightly startled. He didn't seem to have confidence in Huamin's words. I've never lied, so why don't you be patient and wait and see? Sometimes, living is harder than dying. You're not a lowly person in my eyes, and you're not the kind of person who runs away from difficulties. So, you shouldn't always die in your hometown, because dying is too easy, and living is the hardest. Huamin-san. Do you remember Uzumaki Naruto from Naruto? His parents died when he was born, and because of the QB in his body, he was treated like a monster by the entire village. But he never gave up on his beliefs, and even when he was young, his dream was to become Hokage, to protect the village, to prove his value and existence. You are the same. You are now standing on the stage where everyone is looking at you as an idol, not only because of your beautiful appearance, but more importantly, because of your perseverance and indomitable spirit. How inspirational. Let those fans who worship you know that you have never given up on your dream, and that is why you have come to this step today. You must be the dawn for everyone. Dawn, am I? Na Yang asked Huamin in confusion. Of course, you always have. Huamin patted him on the shoulder. That's right. I still have so many fans. They still have unlimited expectations for me. Do you think they're fans of you because you're good-looking? Actually, that's not the case. They're all smart people. The most common comment I saw on your Weibo was this sentence, and I was deeply moved by it. What sentence? Na Yang was a little confused. Your fans said that if you like someone, it starts from his looks, is loyal to his talent, and falls into his character. It's clear that your fans don't only look at your face. They've seen the changes you've made over the years, your hard work, the wonderful risks in each of your movies, and the superb singing of each of your songs. Your hard work is obvious to everyone. Why would you deny yourself because of someone? I can't believe I overlooked all of this. Ni Yang muttered to himself. That's why I said that you're too useless, and you've walked into an endless cycle. Hwamin-san, what should I do now? Ni Yang slowly stood up from the corner, like a lost child. He looked at Hwamin with adorable eyes. It was as if he had found a way to move forward from her words. Chapter 774. Leave her to me, I'll think of a way to help you. Right now, you shouldn't be busy taking jobs, preparing for concerts, or running around for the press conference for your new movie. Instead, you should be getting a good night's sleep. Look at you, you have dark circles under your eyes, and you're wearing smoky makeup. Upon hearing the mention of smoky makeup, Ni Yang couldn't help but laugh. Whenever she talked about it, she would think of Hwamin's exaggerated smoky makeup at the opening of GK Film and Television a while ago. After Suyu brought it up a few times, it had obviously become a black mark on Hwamin. However, even though it was a black mark, she still brought it up to make Ni Yang laugh. Sister Hwamin, thank you. Okay, since you treat me like your sister, I have no reason to not care about my brother. On behalf of the company, I'll give you a day off tomorrow. You can wake up a little later tomorrow, have dinner with Sister Ingzi, or go for a walk by the beach. Basically, relax a little. You can return to work the day after tomorrow, okay? I'll try my best, Ni Yang slowly said. Okay, I'll be going now. If you need anything, send me a WeChat message. Okay. Seeing that Ni Yang was in a much better state, Hwamin walked out, relieved. A young lady, how did it go? Sister Ingzi asked worriedly. Ni Yang's mom. I have to go talk to her, she's a big influence on Ni Yang. It has something to do with his mom. Sister Ingzi was a little surprised. Yeah, it's a long story, I'm going to go now. Keep an eye on him and call me if you need anything. Okay, a young lady, thank you. After interacting with Hwamin a few times, Sister Ingzi already admired a young lady. She always had a way to solve urgent problems. After leaving Phoenix Mansion, Hwamin didn't go home. Instead, he called Yang. Do you know where the woman who helped me previously set up her stall? Wait a moment, a young lady. Let me check. Oh, it's the street of Madame Jean Plaza on the 3rd Ring Road. Alright, I got it. Hwamin then drove straight to the 3rd Ring Road. The 3rd Ring Road was a busy area with many cars and people. More red lights. Finally, they arrived at their destination. Hwamin parked the car and walked toward the pedestrian street. The pedestrian street was filled with food trucks, dazzling the eyes. This was a must-visit place for tourists because they could eat all the delicacies of Sea City in one street. Hwamin walked for about 10 minutes before he saw a stall selling scallion pancakes and roasted lamb. There was a banner with the words, Xiaowan grilled sausages written on it. Are you Madame Xiaowan? Who are you? The woman was very thin and dark, and she looked to be in her 40s. He was wearing blue overalls and a black apron. As he grilled the sausages, he quickly spread out the scallion pancakes. It doesn't matter who I am, what's important is that we talk. I don't know you, why should I talk to you? The woman was obviously not polite. Hwamin didn't say anything. He took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and put it in her money box. This money should be enough for your expenses for the day. Let's go. After speaking, Hwamin didn't wait for her to finish and walked away. As expected, Xiaowan immediately packed up her stall and didn't continue. She pushed her car and followed behind Hwamin. Park your car, let's go in and sit. There was a Starbucks on the pedestrian street, so Hwamin walked in. After Xiaowan parked her car, she followed behind Hwamin. Waiter, 2 cups of Blue Mountain coffee, please. Who are you? Xiaowan looked at Hwamin cautiously. Hwamin didn't say anything. He looked at her from head to toe. He couldn't believe that this seemingly ordinary middle-aged woman was the culprit who pushed his son, Ni Young, into despair multiple times. Chapter 775. I'm here today on behalf of Ni Young. Ha, you're his manager. That can't be right, isn't it, that old woman? Did he change you? Xiaowan smiled, but it was a smile filled with disdain. You don't need to know who I am, I'm here to talk to you about Ni Young. Sure, what do you want to talk about? Xiaowan took a sip of her coffee and asked. What do you want for him to be released? 5 million. She held up 5 fingers without hesitation. She was asking for an exorbitant price. Ha, you're asking for a lot. What? Ni Young is very popular right now. He earns more than 5 million from a single endorsement deal. I don't think that's a lot. Xiaowan seemed to be in the right. Madam Xia, I would like to interrupt your conversation. Let me ask, is he really your biological son? Of course. Xiaowan's eyes flashed. Then I'm confused. If he's your biological son, why are you treating him like this? They say that even a vicious tiger won't eat its cubs. You're a mother, why would you treat your own son like this? What's wrong with me? I'm just asking him for some money. He's rich now, so it's only right that he's filial to me. I gave birth to him after 10 months of pregnancy. Well said, 10 months of pregnancy. It's hard for a mother to give birth to a child, but what about after you gave birth to him? Did you take care of him? Did you think you only laid an egg and left him to fend for himself? Xiaowan didn't expect Huamin to be so sarcastic. She didn't know how to respond. After you gave birth to him, did you take care of him? Back then, for your own selfishness and to pursue a happy life, you took your youngest son to seek refuge with your new husband, leaving him by his drunkard father's side, beaten black and blue all over. When he didn't have food to eat and was about to faint from hunger, where were you, his mother? When he was beaten to the point of death by his violent father, where was his mother? When his aunt kicked him out of the house and he had to live on the streets, where were you? When he spent the night curled up in an internet cafe and was filthy like a beggar, where were you? Xiaowan was suddenly at a loss for words because she didn't know how to answer. You can't answer. Very well, I'll say it for you. When he was suffering from hunger and cold, you went to a new lover and completely ignored your son who was suffering somewhere else. So, now you have the nerve to say that you're his mother. Aren't you a man in his 40s? Do you have any shame? Xiaowan's tea, what's wrong with me? How am I shameless? No matter what, I gave birth to Ni Young. Without me, he wouldn't exist. If I chose to have an abortion back then, would there be an idol today? What a joke. I just want some money. Do you have to insult me like this? Are you crazy? Xiaowan speaking, she was born of Hut of the countrysides. There's a saying that goes, if you don't stay with the sunset, who are you to rise again? You left Ni Young during his most difficult days, and now you have no right to enjoy everything he has, even if you're his mother. Plus, what you've done is no longer worthy of a mother. You came here just to scold me, who do you think you are? I don't want to talk to you. Don't think you can treat me like this just because you gave me 1,000 yuan. I won't take it. Then, Xiaowan got up to leave. I can cure your youngest son's illness. Huamin's casual words made Xiaowan stop in her tracks. Uremia. Kidney transplant, right? Easy, I have a way. You can save Shui. Xiaowan looked at Huamin in disbelief. I work at South Side Recuperation Center, and I know President Wu from the first hospital. What do you think? For the first time in her life, Huamian felt proud to be able to reveal her profession. Xiaowan's expression changed as soon as she heard the words First Hospital and President Wu. Don't mess with me, or else I'm going to fight you. I'm not messing with you. A kidney transplant isn't a difficult surgery. As long as you find a suitable kidney, you can do it at any time. But why are you helping me? Xiaowan wasn't an idiot, so she looked at Huamin cautiously. Chapter 776. Why would I help you for free? I'm not Lei Feng, I have conditions, Huamin said word by word. What conditions? Be a good mother, be Ni Yang's mother, be a responsible mother, apologize to him, and beg for his forgiveness. Then take good care of him and make up for all that you've done for him over the years. What? Xiaowan was dumbfounded. What? Is that hard? Can't you do it? If you can't do it, then we don't need to talk anymore. I don't care if your son lives or dies, just leave it to fate. After speaking, Huamin got up to leave. Xiaowan immediately blocked her way. Don't go, I promise you. I'll agree to any conditions, as long as you save Shuai Shuai. Huamin looked at Xiaowan with a sad expression on her face. They're both your sons, and they both came from your womb. Why are you so cruel to Ni Yang and so nice to your youngest son? No wonder Ni Yang had depression. Anyone who met this woman would go crazy. Why was there such a big difference between their sons? I have my reasons. Xiaowan's fierce image was replaced by tears. How about this, you go back and think about it, then decide if you want to agree to my conditions. No, I'll give you an answer right now. I promise you, but can you please get Shuai Shuai admitted to the hospital immediately? I can't afford the dialysis fees anymore. A lot of hospitals won't accept us, and we're at our wits' end. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone to Ni Yang, Xiaowan said as she began to cry. Don't cry yet, no, I'm begging you, please save Shuai Shuai. He's only 13 years old, his life hasn't even started yet. After speaking, Xiaowan knelt down in front of Huamin. This was something that Huamin didn't expect. She thought Xiaowan was an unreasonable woman. In fact, she was, but she was still willing to throw away all her dignity for her youngest son. Get up, you have to save Shuai Shuai. Xiaowan hugged Huamin's thigh, seemingly very emotional. I will definitely save him, as long as you fulfill your promise. I'll do it, I'll do it. Even if you have to use my kidney, I'll promise you. Alright, then get up first. No, I want Shuai Shuai to be hospitalized now. I'm afraid it'll be too late. Xiaowan was crying so miserably that it didn't look like she was faking it at all. Huamin had no choice but to agree. Then, he followed her back to her residence. She saw Xiaowan's youngest son in a 40-square-meter bungalow near a recycling station in the northern suburbs. He was Ni Yang's half-brother. His name was Sun Shuai. He was only 13 years old, but he was already haggard. He lay on the old bed, his face pale. Mom, you're back. He squeezed out a smile. Shuai Shuai, this sister is from the hospital. She said that she has a way to save you, so she came to take you to the hospital. Really? It's true. Huamin nodded and smiled at the little boy. I've already called the hospital. The ambulance will be here soon. I'll arrange for him to stay at Southside for recuperation and do a series of tests. Then, I'll match him with a kidney and have him undergo surgery as soon as possible. Okay. As long as I can save Shuai Shuai, I'll do anything. Mom, did you buy all the pancakes for today? The little boy asked. Yes, this sister bought all of them. Xiaowan forced a smile. The little boy looked at Huamian, his innocent eyes gazing at her. Sister, you're such a good person. No, I'm not a good person. I just love your mother's pancakes. Huamin couldn't bear to see the little boy like this. She originally sympathized with Ni Yang's situation, but when she saw the empty house, she couldn't bear to look at it. The 40-square-meter bungalow was filled with bottles and cans, and the stench was overwhelming. The little boy's blanket was black, and the corners were covered with moss. Where's Shuai Shuai's dad? Huamin suddenly asked. Chapter 777. I can't get in touch with him anymore. Ever since Shuai Shuai got kidney disease 3 years ago, he ran away. Apparently, he left with the wife of one of his construction workers. Their whereabouts are unknown. Shuai Shuai's grandparents don't want to talk to us, so I have no choice. I can't watch him die, I can't bear to. Then, Xiaowan sat on the edge of the bed and began to cry again. Mommy, I won't die. I'll live for a long time, and I still have to take care of you when you're old. The little boy's voice was very clear. As the saying went, children's words carried no harm, and his words were always the most sincere. Huamin didn't ask any more questions. 20 minutes later, the ambulance at South Side arrived. Head nurse. Take this child to South Side and put him in the ICU. Give him a bath and disinfect, then do a series of tests. Also, get Chief Chi from the internal medicine department to come over and diagnose him. Tell him that I told him to. Yes, head nurse. Then, a few people carried the child into the ambulance. Xiaowan seemed to let out a sigh of relief. You're really going to save him, right? Xiaowan still couldn't believe it. Don't worry, as long as we find the sperm, it won't be a big problem. This disease isn't terminal, there are many cases of recovery. That's good, that's good. Xiaowan nodded vigorously. Can you tell me your story now? Huamin felt like Xiaowan was someone with a story. So, he planned to listen to her story and decide his attitude towards her in the future. Originally, he wanted to force Xiaowan to beg for Ni Yang's forgiveness. Even if it meant threatening her, he wanted her to be a good mother. Acting was fine, but he had to pay back his debt from all these years. Xiaowan sat in front of the little bungalow, bit her lip, and slowly said, I don't love Ni Yang, it's actually because of his father. I've always liked Shuai Shuai's father. Back then, there were always movies in our village, and the whole village went to watch them. I also joined in the fun. One night, when I was walking home late, I was dragged into the sorghum field by Ni Yang's father and raped. Huamin was slightly shocked when he heard this. Ever since I got pregnant, he started hitting me when he was drunk, and I almost had a miscarriage. Maybe Ni Yang was lucky enough to give birth to the baby. But he still didn't change his temper. He didn't work all day, and all he did was drink and hit people when he was drunk. I couldn't take it anymore. I thought there was no hope for that kind of life. At that time, Shuai Shuai's father's fiancée suddenly broke the contract. Heartbroken, he came to me, and we rekindled our relationship. We secretly dated a few times, and then we had Shuai Shuai. After that, I decided to leave him. Then why didn't you take Ni Yang with you? Huamin looked at the woman in front of him sympathetically. How could I take him with me? Shuai Shuai's father was just a lowly worker. He carried bricks and cleaned the house. It was already very difficult for him to support Shuai Shuai and me by himself. Plus, he said that if I took Ni Yang with me, he would break up with me. I didn't want to break up with him. I was really scared of living like before. Plus, I didn't love Ni Yang's father, so I left just like that. But I didn't think that, haha. Shuai Shuai's father was also a scumbag. As soon as the child got sick, he ran away. He said that he was a bottomless pit and left Shuai Shuai to fend for himself. As Xiaowan spoke, tears began to roll down her cheeks. Even though she covered her mouth as hard as she could to stop herself from crying out loud, Huamin was still heartbroken when he heard this. If he didn't hear it from her own mouth, he wouldn't have believed that there was such an unhappy woman in this world. Life was like purgatory. It was extremely tragic. Then why didn't you tell Yang these things? If you told him, I'm sure he would understand. Chapter 778. What should I say? Can the child understand? Can I say that I didn't love your father and that your father raped me? As a mother, can I say that out loud? The truth is, I'm happy that Yang is doing well. When I heard that his father died, I wanted to find him, but Shuai's father wouldn't let me. He even threatened me that if I went to find Yang, he would take Shui away and sell him. That damn man. Huamin wanted to curse. Back then, I was weak and felt like I couldn't live without a man. It wasn't until he left and I had to carry the family on my own that I realized I could support Shui. If it wasn't for his illness getting worse and worse, I really wouldn't have asked Yang. I know he hates me to death. Yang, because of all the unhappiness he's been through, he's seriously depressed. You might not understand, but it's a very serious mental illness. He's suicidal. Suicidal. Xia Wan looked at Huamin in disbelief. I'm not trying to scare you, it's really serious. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have come to find you in such a hurry. Yang cared about the fact that he didn't have a good mother. He never felt the warmth of a mother. That's why he said that he didn't want to live anymore and that death would be his release. I'm sorry. Xia Wan's eyes widened in regret. Forget it, I originally thought that you were a horrible mother, but now it seems like you have your reasons. Let's not dwell on this at a time like this. The most important thing right now is to treat Shui. But I can't pay you. I heard that a kidney transplant costs 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. If you include the surgery fees, it'll cost 500,000 to 600,000 yuan. I can't afford it, I don't even have any savings. Xia Wan really didn't have any money, so she took the initiative to tell Huamin, I'll take care of this. Huamin could tell that she couldn't afford it, but he couldn't let the hospital treat him for free. After all, the hospital wasn't a charity. In fact, the Hua Foundation's money could be used, and Shui's situation was similar. However, there was a process for the approval of the Hua Foundation. Detailed information had to be submitted. If that was the case, there was a possibility that confidential information would be leaked. After all, Shui was Yang's half-brother. It would be terrible if he was caught by someone who wanted to create hype. In the end, Huamin decided that she would pay for it herself. Of course, her salary was not enough. She had to pay for it from the card Qin Chu gave her every month. That card was probably worth tens of millions. Mr. Qin had always been generous to her. She usually used the supplementary card that Qin Chu gave her to spend money, so she basically didn't touch the money. You don't have to live here. Take a few sets of clean clothes and come with me to the hospital. Just stay in the hospital and take care of Shui. Can I really do it? Xia Wan was flattered. Don't forget our promise. You have to remember to make it up to Yang. No matter how much you hate his father, you can't vent your anger on him. He's your son, the child you carried for 10 months. Huamian enunciated each and every word, I know. Xia Wan nodded. Huamin was busy the whole day. When she arrived at Imperial Park, it was already past 8 p.m. Qin Chu was sitting on the sofa, looking at data on his laptop and sorting through documents. Honey, I'm home. Honey, why are you so late today? Don't mention it, today was the most tiring day I've ever had. Huamin shook her head and stretched her neck. She felt exhausted from head to toe. What happened? Qin Chu looked at her in surprise. Ni Yang's depression relapsed, so I went to his mansion. Is it serious? Qin Chu knew that Ni Yang always treated Huamin like an older sister, so he was quite worried. It's pretty serious. I'm going to take a shower first. I'll tell you about it later. Huamin had only taken a few steps when she suddenly remembered something. Song Yisher went to South Side to see me today. Qin Chu was slightly surprised when he heard this. Chapter 779. Why did she go see you? Who knows, she said she wanted to see what Qin Chu's wife was like. She sure is curious. Qin Chu didn't react much. Qin Chu only remembered Song Yisher from before she was 8 years old, so he didn't remember her at all. All these years, she would occasionally hear Mayor's song or her mother mention this person. Qin Chu truly had no feelings for Song Yisher. However, after she came back to China, she really knew how to make her presence known. Yesterday, she had lunch with him, and today, she went to see Huamin. She even had lunch with me at South Side, but she didn't say much. She's really pretty. She's so elegant, like a socialite. Unfortunately, I just don't like her. Because you see her as a love rival, right? Isn't she? Huamin asked back. Of course not, there's nothing going on between us. Plus, we haven't seen each other in 18 years. If you're jealous of her, then you're really boring. Qin Chu smiled and continued to type and organize his documents. Fine, you're right, why should I be worried? Huamin's mind was preoccupied with Ni Yang's family, so she completely forgot about Song Yisher. After she showered, she came out. Qin Chu had already made a sandwich and a cup of warm milk. Thank you, honey, you really love me the most. Huamin hugged Qin Chu and rubbed her chin against his. Then, she wolfed down the food. She didn't care about her ladle-like image at all, probably because she was too hungry. Slow down, your stomach will hurt. Qin Chu watched his wife eat and was both annoyed and amused. I'm hungry. Huamin felt wronged. 10 minutes later, she finished a sandwich and a cup of warm milk. Huamin sat on the sofa and told Qin Chu about Ni Yang's family. Qin Chu just listened quietly. Alright, that's all. That's really complicated. No wonder Ni Yang has depression. Qin Chu sighed slightly. Yeah. I can write a book about it. Let's call it Les Miserables. Oh my god, it's so sad. You don't know how many times I wanted to cry today. Shui Shui is only 13 years old. He's so pitiful, lying there like he's waiting for his life to pass away. Huamin's heart ached at the thought of that poor child. We'll pay for the surgery. Also, you can arrange for the doctor to do the surgery as soon as possible. Uremia can't be delayed for too long. As a professional doctor, Qin Chu knew all too well about these common conditions. I know. I'll arrange it immediately when I go to work tomorrow. Yes, my wife has worked hard. Come, lie down and give me a massage. Okay. Huamin's face was filled with excitement as she lay on Qin Chu's lap. She allowed Qin Chu to massage her head with his big hands. Massages were supposed to be nice and comfortable. However, why did his hands start to slide down? Honey, you can massage my head, but you don't have to massage my dick, Huamin said shyly. You have to. The thoracic surgeon said that if you massage this area often, it'll have a magical effect, Qin Chu said in all seriousness. What magical effect? Huamin really believed him. A turns into B, C turns into D. Huamin was speechless. She stood up and realized that she had been played. Come here, Mr. Qin, I promise I won't beat you to death. The Qin clan couple laughed and joked around at home. Inside Su Yu's private mansion, Tang Chuan said in a playful manner, I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear? The good news. The good news is, you have an ally. Ally? Su Yu furrowed his brows slightly. The bad news is, Hua Mian has a strong enemy. That woman is very powerful. I think if you and that woman work together, you might be able to break Qin Chu and Hua Mian's 7 years of love. Tang Chuan smiled wickedly. First of all, can you tell me who that woman is? Su Yu really didn't know. Tang Chuan loved to gossip, so he probably had a lot of information. Chapter 780. I know you guys aren't as well informed as I am. You guys didn't know that Mayor Song's daughter came back to China, right? Tang Chuan asked mysteriously. Su Yu shook his head. He didn't care about Mayor Song's family matters, nor did he care if he had a daughter or not. It's normal that you don't know. She hasn't come back for more than 10 years. I heard that she has a house in Italy. Every year, Mayor Song and his wife live there for a while. A few days ago, for some reason, she suddenly came back. I heard that she's very close to Lady Qin and visits Lady Qin almost every day. So, I was thinking, why would a young and beautiful single woman be so close to Lady Qin? Plus, Lady Qin doesn't like Hua Min to begin with, so I guessed. Tang Chuan didn't finish his sentence, but Su Yu understood what he was trying to say. I heard that she looks like Sister Qiling. My heart itches, and I want to see her too. Unfortunately, this rich girl rarely appears in public. If it weren't for the fact that she's close to a few socialites, I wouldn't even know about this. She's been so low-key ever since she came back to China. She's so low-key that she's comparable to Hua Min. Tang Chuan didn't mean it, it was just a metaphor, but Su Yu wasn't going to let it go. Not everyone can be compared to Hua Min. Yeah, Hua Min is the most beautiful and low-key person in the world, okay? My bad, Tang Chuan knew that he was a little obsessed, so he didn't want to argue with him. So, Lord Su, if the two of you work together, you'll be a lot more powerful. Even an impenetrable wall can't be completely flawless. I happen to know a girl who's close to her. Do you want me to introduce her to you? She likes Qin Chu, and you want Hua Min. You two can work together. No need. I like Hua Min, that's my business, but whether I get him or not is another matter. After speaking, Su Yu got up and left. Tang Chuan shook his head helplessly. Ever since Lord Su fell into the whirlpool of infatuation, his entire body was filled with righteousness. Instead, he was much more low-key than before. He was no longer as flamboyant as before. She was really thinking about Hua Min, but was there really no need to consider an alliance? Song Yisher was really super strong. If he was a third party, he would be the strongest third party in the history of the universe. Let's see if Hua Min can handle it. The next morning the first thing Hua Min did when he arrived at Southside was to visit Shuai Shuai in the intensive care unit. Xia Wan stayed close to the children to take care of them. Hua Min was considerate. The environment in the intensive care unit was very good. There was a kitchen, a washroom, a shower, a wardrobe, and a television. In addition, the bed for family members was also very comfortable. However, looking at Xia Wan's haggard appearance, she probably didn't sleep much. When she came in the morning, she received a few reports about Shuai Shuai. The child wasn't at the point where he couldn't take it anymore. However, his condition was very serious. She walked in with a few reports. Xia Wan was feeding Shuai Shuai porridge. It was pumpkin porridge. It looked like Xia Wan cooked it herself. There were also 2 scallion pancakes on the side. Shuai Shuai, pretty sister, you're here. Shuai Shuai remembered Hua Min. How are you feeling today? My leg hurts a little. Huamin carefully lifted a corner of the blanket and saw Shuai Shuai's swollen leg due to kidney disease. It was a shocking sight. It's okay, I'll arrange for you to have surgery in a few days. After the surgery, you'll be fine. Really? Sister, can I play soccer in the future? Shuai Shuai took a sip of the pumpkin porridge and asked Huamin. Chapter 781. Of course. Huamin smiled. Can I run and long jump? Shuai Shuai blinked innocently. Of course. After you recover, you'll be like any other normal child. You can do whatever they do. Oh yeah, that's great. Shuai Shuai clapped his hands. Xia Wan turned around and said, Dr. Hua, I made this congee myself. If you don't mind, sure, I haven't eaten this morning. Huamin picked up a scallion pancake and ate it. Then, she took out a card from her pocket and placed it on the table. This is Southside's meal card. I've already recharged it. You can eat with Shuai Shuai in the future. It's pretty good. Oh, don't forget the time. It's 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you. Xia Wan licked her lips awkwardly as if she was embarrassed. Huamin used to think that she was a vampire who wanted to blackmail an Yang. Now, it seemed like she wasn't. She couldn't accept other people's kindness with a clear conscience. She was just like any other ordinary person. Also, you can't take care of Shuai Shuai all by yourself. Shuai Shuai is preparing for surgery, so I'll send a nurse on the night shift to accompany you. Basically, you'll be fine. Make sure you get enough sleep. Otherwise, you'll collapse before the child recovers. I know. I'll listen to you, Dr. Hua. Xia Wan seemed to rely on and trust Huamin a lot. I'm not a doctor yet. I'm just the head nurse of the orthopedics department, Huamin corrected her. But I heard a lot of people call you Dr. Hua. They call me that because... Okay, Huamin didn't know how to explain it. Huamin touched his nose helplessly. It was her cute colleagues who wanted her to pass the exam as soon as possible, okay? That was why they called her earlier. After walking out of the ward, Huamin went to the internal medicine department to look for Chief Qi. Chief Qi explained Shuai Shuai's condition to Huamin. Fortunately, the child's life was not in danger at the moment, but he could not hold on forever. A kidney transplant was the root cause. Director Qi, is it easy to find? Do we have a match in our storage? We don't have it in our warehouse for the time being, but we can apply to President Wu. He is the executive director of the Chinese Medical Council and has the right to mobilize the reserves of other hospitals. I don't think it's a problem. The child also needs surgery as soon as possible. Okay, then I'll talk to President Wu. After that, Huamin returned to his office and personally called President Wu. President Wu agreed without hesitation. Shuai Shuai's matter had undoubtedly increased Huamin's workload, but she had no complaints. This was because this was Ni Yang's family. Moreover, once Shuai Shuai recovered, Xia Wan would not be so stressed. She could also make up for Ni Yang's past. Hopefully, Xia Wan's repentance would eventually earn Ni Yang's forgiveness and untie the knot in his heart. It was another busy day. After Huamin got off work, he took off his white coat and changed into his long black suit. He walked out of the office handsomely. Just as he was about to open the car door, he heard a honk from not far away. He looked over and saw that it was Jiang Shaowei's Lexus parked in front of the hospital. Huamin, let's go eat. Jiang Shaowei was wearing a coffee-colored knitted dress and a white jacket. She looked very beautiful. Sis, can you not be so sudden every time you look for me? At least call in advance. Huamin smiled. Chapter 782. It was a spur-of-the-moment idea. I just finished a meeting at the station and was bored to death. I suddenly wanted to eat barbecue. You didn't eat barbecue during the summer, and it's late autumn now. You want to eat barbecue? Huamin was sweating profusely. Yeah, who cares about seasons? You're so funny, come on up. Okay, I won't drive then. Huamin would sometimes park at the hospital and take Qin Chu's car home. Jiang Xiaowei came to pick her up personally, so of course she had to go. Plus, barbecue was her favorite. How are you and Wei Liao? Huamin had been busy lately, so she didn't have time to talk to Jiang Xiaowei about Wei Liao. Other than his parents and sister, who are a bit difficult to deal with, everything else is fine. Wei Liao has a sister. Huamin was surprised. Not only does he have a sister, but he also has an older brother. If he had 6 siblings, I would think that I was engaged to the Calabash brothers. Jiang Xiaowei said it in all seriousness. Huamin laughed like a flower. I love your serious humor. Ha, I'm dying of laughter. I'm serious, I'm not kidding, Jiang Xiaowei said as she glanced at Huamin. Oh right, I'll send my husband a WeChat message. Ha, tell him we're going to eat. Does he care where you eat? Jiang Xiaowei asked in confusion. No, he doesn't care. It's just that he comes to pick me up after work every day, so I'm afraid he'll miss me. He's China's best husband, Jiang Xiaowei praised. As Huamin's best friends, Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling were Qin Chu's fans. They especially admired Qin Chu's love for Huamin. That kind of persistence was rare in the world. Su Yu was common, but Qin Chu was not. This was Jiang Xiaowei's conclusion. From Jiang Xiaowei's point of view, Su Yu's interest in Huamin was a playboy. Perhaps it was because he couldn't get what he wanted, so he had a desire to conquer her. Qin Chu, on the other hand, had suffered for many years. In the end, he stayed by Huamin's side to protect him. No matter what difficulties he went through, he would always place Huamin at the center. Time was the best weapon to test a person's heart. And to prove that Su Yu was sincere to Huamin, time would prove it. After that, Jiang Xiaowei parked the car in front of a small barbecue restaurant. You've been here before. Is it good? Huamin thought that since Jiang Xiaowei went through so much trouble to bring her here, it must be a specialty restaurant like the Little Idiot, Pig Trotters. Who knew that this big sister would casually reply, I don't know, I've never been here before. I just randomly picked one. Randomly picked one, that's fine, I'm impressed. Sometimes, Huamin thought he was weird enough. However, after meeting Jiang Xiaowei, he suddenly felt like he had become normal. This was because someone even weirder than him had appeared. Just as Jiang Xiaowei sat down, Wei Liao called, we're having barbecue. Yeah, West 4th Loop, Weishan Road. There's a place called Fatty's Barbecue. Okay, come over. After hanging up the phone, Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin. Calabash brothers are coming over, do you mind? I don't mind. Huamin smiled. He thought to himself that Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao were probably a couple as funny as Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling. What if Siyu comes? Pfft, then forget it, it's better if I don't see him too much. Huamin got up to leave. Sit down, look at how scared you are. It's just Wei Liao, and Su Yu is busy. Imperial Star has been making some big moves lately. It seems like they want to compete with GK. Oh, that would be great. Huamin nodded. I'm actually curious, weren't you touched at all when he sang the song the first time the other day? Jiang Xiaowei was actually very curious. Su Yu was so rich and handsome. Was she really not moved at all when he sang and played the piano for her? Chapter 783. Huamin picked up a pen and drew a barbecue dish he wanted to eat as he replied, "No." "Then you're awesome, don't be so greedy. God has already given me the best, why should I pay attention to things that don't belong to me?" Then, Huamin handed her the menu. "I've already ordered, you can order whatever you want. But don't order too much, it'll be a waste." Jiang Xiaowei truly liked a friend like Huamin. The way he handled things made him feel much more comfortable in his heart. Nowadays, a lot of girls relied on their good looks to keep multiple men in suspense. However, this wasn't a good thing. Girls had to love themselves first. Only then would others love them. As the saying goes, the ones that are fought over are the ones that are on sale at the supermarket, while the ones with spare tires are the ones that are broken. Truly outstanding girls didn't need spare tires or fights, one was enough. Huamin was right, people shouldn't be greedy. God has already given you the best, what more could you ask for? After Qin Chu received his wife's WeChat message, he wasn't in a hurry to get off work. He worked overtime at the company until 6 p.m. When he got off work, he received a call from his father. Speaking of which, it was embarrassing. In order to stop his mother from getting drunk, his father went to Hawaii early and didn't attend GK's 30-year anniversary celebration. After all, his father single-handedly built this empire. Chu. Dad. How's the company? Everything's good. How about T-City? They've completely changed their staff and made adjustments to their projects. Don't worry. Then don't overwork yourself. It's good to be young, but health is priceless. I know, Dad. How are Uncle and the others? They're all good. I play basketball and drink coffee with them every day. Sometimes, we go hiking and rock climbing together. I feel like I'm a few years younger. That's good. Qin Chu nodded. Chu, how's your mother? As expected, they grew up together. Even if Lady Qin didn't look at him, Qin Yumin still missed her and couldn't stop thinking about her. The older generation always liked to say one thing and mean another. I haven't been back recently. Chu, in fact, your mother is doing this for your own good. She's just a little extreme sometimes, but we can't lower ourselves to her level. After all, she's your mother, I know. When I'm not at home, it's inevitable that she'll be lonely. It's good for you to go back and visit her occasionally. She's still holding a grudge against Huamin, so she asked Huamin to avoid meeting her. This way, it'll be good for everyone. We can talk about other things later. Yes. Alright, you can continue with your work. His father's phone call was undoubtedly to ask him to go back and see his mother. After all, she lived alone in such a big villa. Without her son and husband by her side, it was inevitable that she would be in a bad mood. Huamin happened to go to have dinner with Jiang Xiaowei. Qin Chu directly drove back to the old house of the Qin family. Young master is back. When the maid saw Qin Chu, she immediately greeted him, "Where's my mother?" "She and Miss Song are upstairs." "I'll call them down." "Miss Song." Qin Chu was a little confused. The maid immediately ran upstairs. "Madam, young master is back." Lady Qin walked downstairs. Song Yisher, who was wearing a dark blue dress, stood behind her. "You're finally willing to come back." Lady Qin seemed to be angry at her son. "I just passed by a dessert shop and bought some of your favorite desserts." Qin Chu placed the box of desserts on the table. "At least you have a conscience." Seeing that her son bought desserts for her, Lady Qin's attitude changed. "Then you guys talk, I'm leaving." "Wait, you just came back. We haven't eaten yet." "Sit down and eat with Mom," Lady Qin said bossily. Chapter 784. Song Yisher smiled and tried to persuade her, Mama Chin, don't give him a hard time. He might be busy with work. What work is there to be busy with? He's just in a hurry to go home with. Before Lady Chin could finish her sentence, Song Yisher stopped her. However, Song Yisher stopped her and immediately said, if you're not in a hurry, why don't you sit down and have dinner with us? I made butter croissants for Mrs. Chin. They're delicious, do you want to try them? Song Yisher's sincere invitation made Chin Chu feel a little embarrassed. He wanted to refuse, but his mother forced the maid to say, why are you still standing there? Why aren't you eating? Can't you see that young master is hungry? Yes, madam. Just like that, Chin Chu was left at home. Song Yisher was a great cook. Perhaps it was because she had been abroad for many years, but she was good at cooking Western food. Sure, your parents are coming back soon, right? Yeah, in a day or two. Let's have dinner together when they come back. I miss your mom, Lady Chin said with a smile. Sure, I'll find time to arrange for our families to have dinner together. Chu, do you think Sure looks different from when she was young? Lady Chin looked at her son and asked. Chin Chu wasn't in the mood to eat. He looked down and occasionally chatted with Huamin on WeChat. When he heard his mother's question, he looked up. Yeah. What do you mean, yeah? Let me ask you. Does Sure look different from when she was young? She's changed a lot. After all, 18 years have passed, Chin Chu said faintly. Like I said, this girl is beautiful. Compared to those women out there who have undergone plastic surgery, Sure is simply a natural beauty. I really don't know what's so good about those pointy chins and European-style eyes. They're so scary. Our Sure looks more comfortable. Lady Chin really liked Song Yisher and couldn't stop praising her. Chin Chu didn't respond. After dinner, Chin Chu was about to get up and leave when his mother said, since you're driving, why don't you take Sure home? You're not staying here. Chin Chu was surprised that she would stay with his mother. No, I'm staying at my uncle's for the next few days. Song Yisher smiled. Before Chin Chu could respond, Song Yisher continued, I could have driven myself, but ever since I came back from abroad, I don't like driving in the right direction. I keep making mistakes, so my uncle suggested that I practice driving at a driving school before I go on the road. Otherwise, it'll be very dangerous. Alright, let's go then. Chin Chu nodded his head. Then, Sure to get into the Maybach. I see, you didn't eat dinner. Is the food? No, I'm just not that hungry, Chin Chu replied. Why isn't Huamin here? She went out to eat with her friends. Oh. I actually already met Huamin at Southside. I heard her talk about it. I'm sorry, you won't blame me, right? I'm just curious, what kind of girl do you like? I won't. Chin Chu was the type of person who would answer whatever question he asked. But you have good taste, she's a smart girl. She's also very direct, I really like her. Thank you, Chin Chu replied simply. Time flies. It's been 18 years already. Do you still remember when I was at your house? I was a crybaby. Every time I cried, you would stay far away from me. Because you're a germaphobe, you were afraid that my snot would get on you. Mr. and Mrs. Chin both died of laughter. Thinking back, I was really embarrassed at that time. I've almost forgotten everything from when I was young. Chin Chu had a high IQ, so he didn't have time to reminisce with Song Yisher. Upon hearing what he said, Song Yisher looked slightly disappointed. You haven't changed much, you still look the same as when you were young. Sometimes, when I see your face, I feel like I've traveled back in time to 18 years ago. Song Yisher smiled. Before Qin Chu could respond, she continued, actually, when you were in the States, I visited you once a year. Qin Chu was slightly surprised. He tilted his head and looked at Song Yishe. How come I've never seen you before? Chapter 785. That's because you're out in the open, and I'm in the dark. I'm actually quite introverted, and I don't know how to express myself. When I visit you, I spend most of my time looking at you from afar. I watch you walk down the tree-lined streets of your school, I watch you eat burgers in the cafeteria, I watch you play basketball by yourself, and I watch you in a daze. The truth was, Song Yishe felt bad for Qin Chu. The reason why she didn't show up was simple. Qin Chu went abroad to treat his wounds after a breakup. She wasn't sure if he would like her, so all she could do was watch quietly. She wanted to create an opportunity for them to reunite after they returned to China. However, to her surprise, Qin Chu didn't say a word when he returned to China. Even her father didn't know about it. No one knew about their marriage either, and they just quietly got their marriage certificate. This incident deviated from all of her plans. Now that she thought about it, her 7 years of non-stop visits to him were just a story. Qin Chu didn't know how to respond because he didn't know why Song Yishe suddenly said all of this. Ha! I'm a very stubborn person, right? My parents said the same thing about me, that I didn't know how to express myself when I was young, even to my close friends. I thought you were the cutest little friend of mine when I was young, so I wanted to reunite with you one day, and now, we finally meet again. Nothing else matters, and I'm very thankful. I'm thankful that we've been through the baptism of time, and that we can still meet as little friends. This is pretty good. Song Yishe's words were too vague. Qin Chu was a little confused. He didn't know what she was trying to say. Memories, companionship, and time together. Seeing that Qin Chu was silent, Song Yishe pointed out the window and said, that amusement park used to be my favorite. I loved the merry-go-round, but I was too timid to ride it. You were the one who pushed me up there and scared me half to death. I still remember that feeling even now. The things I did when I was young were bold and ridiculous. Now that I've grown up, I've become a coward. Song Yishe said with a self-deprecating smile. Before Qin Chu could respond, she suddenly asked, if Huamin didn't appear all these years, would you? Before she could finish her sentence, Qin Chu's phone rang. Honey, he said gently. Song Yishe was so sad that she wanted to cry. I have to take Yishe home first, I'll pick you up. Qin Chu didn't even try to hide the fact that Song Yishe was sitting in his car. Perhaps this was the best way to distance himself from her. What did you just ask me? After he hung up on Huamian's to answer, he turned to look to Song Yishe. Yes, the best time of my life was spent with her. Qin Chu didn't hide anything. After he took Song Yishe home, Qin Chu drove to a barbecue restaurant. Huamin and the others hadn't finished eating yet. Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao were sitting with them. Honey, come here, the barbecue here is amazing. I ordered the classic grilled squid for you. Huamin intimately hugged Qin Chu's hand and sat down. Qin Chu was slightly surprised to see Wei Liao here. Then, he glanced at the cutlery on the table. There were only 3. It seemed like Siu wasn't here. President Qin, did you spend a lot of money raising her? She eats so much, she eats even more than me. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin, amused. She already had a lot of used metal skewers next to her. It does cost a lot of money. Qin Chu chuckled. I'm worth it, okay. The fact that you're spending money now means that you're investing. I have potential. Okay, Dr. Hua, I look forward to seeing you become Hua Tuo. Your name will be passed down through the ages. Jiang Xiaowei said jokingly. After eating for a while, the 4 of them left. After Huamin got into the car, he impatiently asked, Mr. Qin, please listen to the question. Please give me the question, Qin Chu cooperated. It's already dark, but why is the goddess who looks like Sister Qi Ling in my husband's car? Qin Chu, the 3-second countdown starts now. Chapter 786. When I went back to see my mom, she was there too. We had dinner together and then I drove her home. What? You had dinner together? Qin Chu, what did you eat? I don't remember. There was some Western food and some soup made by the maids. I didn't eat much. Qin Chu was telling the truth, because he wasn't in the mood to eat either. I see. Huamin purposely dragged out her words. Honey, you have to believe me. Otherwise, if something really happened, I wouldn't have told you that she was in my car. I know, I didn't even ask you anything. Why are you so nervous? Huamin chuckled. I'm not nervous, you're the one who made me nervous. If you're not guilty, then why are you nervous? I'm just worried that you'll overthink things. Do I look like someone who would overthink things? Okay. Honey, I'm sorry, Qin Chu admitted. Huamin smiled as she held onto his arm. Honey. I have exams the day after tomorrow. I'm really nervous, what should I do? Exams the day after tomorrow. So soon. Yeah, I don't know if President Wu set me up. I told him that I needed to prepare, but he actually pushed it to the day after tomorrow. Damn it, he's crazy. For the first time, Huamin felt so unconfident in himself. Even if he had to realize his dream of many years, the more he thought about it, the more nervous he became. It's okay, I believe you can do it. But I don't believe in myself. You don't even know how crazy neurology is. Oh right, Xiao Wei said that she would email me the information. I don't know if it's reliable. The two drove all the way back to their home at Imperial Park. Before Huamin went upstairs, she received a call from Jixin. Sis, did she look for you? No, why? She still hasn't contacted me in the past few days. I don't know what's going on. Logically speaking, she should be fine after a few days of silence. Jing Jixin was very worried. Maybe she hasn't been in a good mood lately and hasn't adjusted. Don't worry. Sis. I'm telling the truth, don't laugh at me, go ahead. Huamin sat down on the sofa while talking to Jixin on the phone. Ever since she gave me the cold shoulder, I haven't been in the mood to study. All my thoughts are on her. I don't understand why she suddenly became like that. I don't have the appetite to eat, and I can't sleep. I know you're going to scold me for being useless, but that's just how I am. I won't call you a good-for-nothing. Liking someone is just like that. You're still young, so it's normal for you to feel heartbroken. But right now, I'm not sure what the conflict between you two is, so I can't intervene. Why don't you wait a little longer? Sis, does she not want to be with me anymore? Even if we break up? I can accept it as long as she says it herself. I can't accept it when she doesn't say anything and keeps her distance from me. I understand. Jixin, just wait a few more days. If there's still no news, I'll ask her myself. I'll give you an answer then, okay? Don't think about anything else for the next few days. Help Mom clean up the old house. I'll start moving after exams. Okay. I got it, sis. Okay, go ahead. After hanging up the phone, Huamin sighed slightly. So many things happened every day, but the young couple, Jixin and Yu, still caused him a lot of trouble. The next morning, Huamin took a day off. After Qin Chu went to work, she began to clean up the house by herself. After she finished, she received a call from Zhu Lingling, so the two of them went shopping together. Huamin didn't expect to run into Song Yishe at a coffee shop. She was drinking coffee with a few other girls. When she saw Huamin, she smiled slightly and politely. Hey, did you guys know? I heard that a young lady from GK is the illegitimate daughter of the Hua family. Her mother is a mistress, one of the girls beside Song Yisher said, her voice loud enough for Huamin to hear. Who said that? Don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. Hui Yanyan told me herself. Why would she lie about her family? Then, the girls laughed mockingly. Song Yisher didn't say anything. Huamin calmly continued to drink his coffee. Zhu Lingling, on the other hand, couldn't sit still anymore. She stood up and walked towards the girls. Chapter 787. Hey, is it really okay for you guys to gossip behind my back like this? Zhu Lingling asked aggressively. Ha! Who are you, you? The girls turned around and looked at Zhu Lingling, confused. A young lady from GK is my friend, so what? You guys gossip behind my back, it's so disgusting. It's our freedom to say whatever we want. Even if it's our freedom, we can't twist the truth, right? Mistress. Let me tell you, Hui Yanyan's mother is the real mistress. She must have perseverance to be able to live under the same roof as Mrs. Hua for so many years. Also, Hui Yanyan was a bitch when she was in school. How could you believe her? It's obvious that your IQ is lower than a bitch's. Zhu Lingling had always been rude, especially when she heard that Huamin was being criticized. She was so angry that she almost exploded. Therefore, she started arguing without a care in the world, attracting a lot of attention. Huamin immediately walked up to her and pulled her back. Lingling, forget it, let's go. Forget what? If we don't teach these people a lesson, they'll really think that you're easy to bully. Someone recognized Huamin and whispered, how unlucky, why didn't I think she would be here? Just then, Song Yisher, who had been silent this whole time, said, Huamin, they only heard rumors, they didn't mean to slander you. Don't take it to heart. Before Huamin could say anything, Zhu Lingling looked at Song Yisher fiercely and said, that's easy for you to say. If someone scolded you first and then said that they only heard rumors, you shouldn't take it to heart. Would you? Song Yisher's expression changed slightly. You guys, all of you dress like normal people, but the things you say and do don't match your status at all. You call yourself a socialite, what a joke. What does it have to do with you? Where did this wild woman come from? Waiter, kick this shrew out, she's degrading us. A girl was clamoring. The waiter walked over and said, excuse me, Mississippi. Please leave. Noise is prohibited here. We are guests. Why should we leave? They are insulting others here, and you don't care. Zhu Lingling was angry. I'm a gold card member here. Are you guys? Our members have this privilege. One of the girls smiled proudly. Please, the two of you. Don't delay our business. The waiter knew the girls because they were regulars here. However, she didn't know Huamin or Zhu Lingling, thus, it was obvious that he was looking down on Zhang Xian. At first, Huamin didn't think much of it and wanted to drag Lingling away. After all, it was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. However, the waiter's obvious attitude made Huamin very angry. She picked up the phone and called Xiaoyang. Send the company's finance department over to estimate the value. A young lady, what do you want? I want to buy a coffee shop. 10 minutes after Huamin's phone call, GK arrived with 7 black Mercedes-Benz 600s. Bodyguards, a finance department, and an assistant came over. It was a massive operation. The girls were dumbfounded. They didn't expect Huamin's side to be so efficient. Were they going to start a fight? Of course not, they were going to show off their wealth, a young lady. Xiao Yang said respectfully. I don't care what method you use, what price you have to pay, or how much money you have to spend. I want to buy this coffee shop, and I want it fast. Huamin gave Xiao Yang the ultimate mission. Chapter 788. A young lady, you don't have to buy this place. This entire row of storefronts belongs to our company. You can just take back the place. Okay, that's easy. That's even better. Take back this entire row. I'm going to open a super big coffee shop. Huamin's actions shocked everyone. Then, Huamin looked at the waiter who was about to chase them away and said, I'm so sorry, you're going to lose your job. The waiter was dumbfounded and didn't know what to do. The owner of the coffee shop rushed over and seemed like he wanted to apologize to Huamin. However, he was stopped by the bodyguards outside and couldn't enter. He anxiously walked around in circles. I've bought all the coffee shops here, so, your gold and silver cards are all invalid. In other words, you're all on my blacklist and won't be able to enter again. So what if you have money? One of the girls was so angry that her face turned red. Weren't you the one who told me this? Weren't you the one who showed off your gold card? Huamin looked at her, amused. Who told you to show off? Let me tell you, don't compare your wealth with Huamin. I can't be bothered to compare myself with you. I'll beat you to a pulp anytime. Huamin. You don't have to make such a big deal out of it. Just let it go for my sake, Song Yisher said awkwardly. What were you doing earlier? You're the peacemaker now. Where were you when they said that Huamin was a mistress? This woman is really something, Zhu Lingling said angrily. Miss Song. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to target you. I hate it when people talk to me. I'm not Lei Feng. There's no need to care about other people. I'll say it again, if they let me be, I'll let it go. If they don't let me be, then I won't let either of us be. Huamin had never flaunted his wealth before. Now that he had bought back a row of storefronts in San Juan, it was quite shocking. He was so domineering, a young lady, it's done. From now on, this coffee shop belongs to you. We'll transfer the ownership right away. Yang and the coffee shop owner signed a contract in the shortest time possible. Very good. The first thing I need to do is ask that table of customers to leave. The bodyguards all walked over to them. Scared out of their wits, the girls left the cafe together with Song Yisher. Huamin, I'm sorry for what I did today. Song Yisher didn't forget to say this before she left. Huamian thought it was a little hypocritical to say something like this at a time like this. What is, who's to tea she speaks coquettishly, but she looks all right. She's Qin Chu's childhood friend. Pfft, your love rival. Zhu Lingling was shocked. Love they Huamian, ttst her to meet her, what's wrong? Is she very powerful? No, she comes from a powerful family. For example, who's her dad? Zhu Lingling became more and more curious. Her dad is Song Jiangwo. Pfft, the mayor's daughter. Zhu Lingling spat out blood twice in 3 minutes. She was shocked. Emichim. Okay. I'm so uninformed. I didn't know. Let's just let them gossip, there's no need to stoop down to their level. Emichim. But is it really okay for me to buy such a big coffee shop? Will it make money? Huamin wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Was he too impulsive just now? I'm going to drink coffee for free from now on, it's awesome. Zhu Lingling danced around. Screw you, you're a scammer. Huamin pinched Zhu Lingling's face. GK headquarters, sir, that's what's going on. Are you saying that my wife is going to open a coffee shop? Chin Chu was a little confused. He looked at Yang in disbelief. Chapter 789. I think so. A young lady seems to be very passionate about it. She took back all the apartments in that row. Yang calculated in his mind. That row of storefronts was located in a prime area, and each storefront cost 5 million yuan a year. There were 13 storefronts in that row, which meant that the annual rent was 65 million yuan. Okay, whatever she wants to do, you can do it for her. Chin Chu didn't ask too much. After all, Min had her reasons for doing things. This incident gradually spread in their circle. At night, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao went to Su Yu's mansion for a drink and talked about this incident. I heard that Min flaunted her wealth today. Yeah, I heard that she took back 13 storefronts and said that she's going to open the biggest coffee shop in the city. Coffee shop? What's she up to now? Su Yu was slightly surprised. Then, Tang Chuan gossiped about the incident from beginning to end. He even added some details to make it more vivid. Then, Su Yu fell silent. She really is a weird girl. She's so high profile even when she's opening a coffee shop. So, does that mean we don't have to pay for our coffee in the future? Are you guys that close to Min? Tang Chuan laughed. You think too much. Wei Liao looked at him and said quietly. Don't you need to stay at home with the doctor? Su Yu looked at Wei Liao. It was rare for him to come out and relax. The doctor is working overtime at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. She asked me to pick her up at 1 a.m. Oh. So you're feeling lonely? Tang Chuan smirked. Go away. What do you mean by lonely? I'm just drinking and chatting with you guys. Isn't that great? Su Yu leaned against the recliner with a bottle of beer in his hand and looked up at the starry night sky. He didn't seem as happy as he used to be. Lord Su, are you going to Rio? The Olympic Games are about to start, and countries all over the world are going to Brazil. Let's go and have some fun, shall we? I heard that the girls over there have big breasts and are very passionate. Tang Chuan was full of interest. I'm not going. You guys go ahead. I'm not going either. You go. Wei Liao immediately added. Fuck. Can I still play with you guys happily in the future? Lord Su, do you have any plans for the second half of the year? Aren't you going abroad to relax? No, I'll focus on the company in the second half of the year. I can't let GK ride on my head, Su Yu said after taking a sip of wine. Good job. The three of them chatted until late at night. When Chin Chu got home from work, to his surprise, Min was not home yet. Strange, wasn't his wife on leave today? Why isn't he back yet? He picked up his phone and dialed the number. The number you have dialed is busy, please try again later. The line was actually busy. Just then, Song Yisher's call came in. Chin Chu. What's up? The truth was, Chin Chu didn't want to interact too much with Song Yisher, as it made him uncomfortable. Song Yisher was a smart woman, but she always tried to bring Chin Chu back to his childhood memories. Chin Chu didn't like being led by the nose, so he subconsciously avoided Song Yisher. I did something wrong today and made Min unhappy. Chin Chu heard Zhu Lingling talk about what happened in their WeChat group. The truth was, it had nothing to do with Song Yisher. She didn't say a single word about Min from beginning to end. Plus, she wasn't Min's friend, so it was normal that she didn't defend him. Min didn't blame her either. But what was the meaning of her sudden apology? Why was she apologizing? You can't be blamed for what happened, those people started it. But I think Min misunderstood me. She's very angry, and she even bought a coffee shop, Song Isher said. My wife is always like that. She's very imaginative, it's fine. How about this, I'll treat you and Hwamin to dinner. It'll be my apology. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.